Sacred Symbols, a PlayStation podcast, is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn how to support our show, go to patreon.com/laststandmedia. Greetings and salutations. Welcome back to Sacred Symbols Plus, a PlayStation podcast supplement. My name is Colin Moriarty. I'm joined today by a very special cadre of people to talk about Resident Evil Requiem, which is Resident Evil 9. And I wish they just called it that because it's a little annoying to me. Let's go around the horn and say hello to everyone, starting with my very own Dustin Furman, executive producer. How are you today, my friend? Good to see you.
I am very well. I think this is not going to come out for a week.
Yep.
So it's a little old news, but been playing Pokopia, which I was thinking when I was playing last night. Amazing contrast from going from playing Resident Evil 9 to going and building Pokemon habitats. It's been quite nice, but I'm excited to talk about Resident Evil 9, of course, and we have a great group here.
Really? You would describe it as a great group. I would too as well.
Oh.
Yeah. So
I would say it's a fantastic group.
Yeah,
actually.
right. Great minds think alike, as they say. Well, it's good to see you. Brad Ellis.
Hello.
How are you today, my friend? Good to see you all the way from California.
I'm doing great. Happy to be here. I'm going to say we're the best group.
Oh,
Yeah.
Not great group, not fantastic. The best. This is it. The prime.
Sure.
Right here.
Everything well in your life?
Yes, sir. Everything's great. Can't complain, man. Weather's getting a little warmer here, but very pleasant still, Colin. You know that California weather.
Oh, yeah.
SoCal weather.
Oh, yeah.
Very pleasant. Spring's coming.
Yeah, it's here. I mean, I actually had the HVAC on for the first time this year because it's 80.
Wow.
So it's like,
Damn.
Hot. Like I didn't have it on. I didn't have anything on yesterday, and then I was like walking around. We have two zones, like one upstairs, one downstairs. So I was looking at the thermostat downstairs, and it was 77 degrees. I was like, Jesus, What is this? Europe? Speaking of which, Lockmort. Good to see you, my friend. How are you today?
Hello, sir. Very happy to be here. Very happy to give the European take on a Japanese game about Americans. So
Yes.
very excited.
It should be very good. Are you well? How's everything with you?
Yeah. Today was my last day at work, so I'm a free agent from here on out. So I'm doing pretty great. That's I have a nice little vacation stacked up forever now. So I'm other than that, awesome.
Do you have things lined up or what's? I mean, obviously you're doing work for us, but yeah, nothing happening. Well, we'll continue to ratchet up the work for you. I mean,
sure. Yeah.
Can we be honest with the audience? Because some people are like, "Oh, you got to bring Lockmort in more and pay."
Yeah.
I'm like, let's be clear that I have essentially offered Lockmort a job.
Yeah.
To which he said, "It's not really what you need."
Well, to be fair, that's not fair. That's not fair.
It's not what I need.
Yeah. I didn't want to screw you over. That's the story. I didn't want to screw you over. That's the real story here.
No, I appreciate that. No, we've been going back and we were talking. You've been working for us for a long time, and you'll be obviously filling in when Dustin's gone too, which will be nice. But, but we've been going back and forth about various things since last year about ping-ponging things that you can do.
Yeah.
And you are you're top of mind as we move forward, because I wanted to throw you more things and make sure you're secure and safe. Though you do live in a European social safety net country, right?
Well, I used to, yeah. These days I'm not so sure, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, a lot of never mind.
Yeah, but I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I appreciate everything you do, of course. So thank you so much.
Never mind. Of course. It's good to see you. All right. Well, we're here to gather for Resident Evil Requiem. Let me tell you one thing that bothers me about this name. I was saying Resident Evil 9. Same thing with Village. Is that no one uses the colon anymore. It's like Resident Evil Requiem.
Yeah.
Resident Evil Village. Isn't it Resident Evil Requiem? What are we doing? Why is everyone? And then everyone's doing it. Horizon Hunters Gathering. Just one no colon. It's like, what?
Yeah, it is weird.
Horizon Hunters Gathering. That's how I have to say it. Resident Evil Requiem. No pausing. Let's get going. And I know they don't want to alienate anyone with the 8s and the 9s and all that. I get it. But I just want to throw that out there. That's my biggest problem with the game. Otherwise, it's perfect. Let's go wrap it up. What'd you say?
It's perfect. Let's wrap it up.
Yep.
See you guys next time.
Let's go around the horn and talk about it. We'll start high level as we always do, and then we can get into the nitty gritty. I've been taking notes. So I'll be honest here. I beat it once. I got the shitty ending, apparently. It gives you the option to go and do the other ending immediately, but I was like, I don't want to do that. I'm going to play it again. So I'll just do the other ending when I play it at the end. So I never got there. And then I'm in Raccoon City in my second playthrough. So I'm like, all right, I'm out of time. So I went and just read, and I'm like, oh, yeah, it's like a completely different thing. Like I totally missed it. So I actually got the bad ending and never saw the real ending, but I did read about it. And I don't want to watch it because I'm going to probably see it tonight or tomorrow. But so I'm on my second playthrough of the game, and we'll go around and see how everyone feels about it. I'll start here, and Dustin knows this because we talked about it on Sacred already. I think this game's exceptional. Loved it, absolutely loved it. So Brad, let's go to you first.
Okay, so thoughts. I only played through the game once as well. I've been letting it sit, not really rushing through it or anything like that, and I really enjoyed this game. I think it's a very good Resident Evil game. I think about it comparing to other ones, and I think it's better than a lot of the newer titles that I could recall. Like, I like it more than 7. I like it more than Village. I was very happy. As a longtime fan, too, with a lot of the story stuff going on here, I feel like we actually moved the story quite a bit in one direction instead of leaving plot holes unresolved, like always in a Resident Evil game. So I was very happy with that. That was great. I really liked Grace as a new character. I know you found her annoying at times, Colin. I'm wondering how you adjusted. But I did like her a lot. I think she brought some good humanity to the situation, especially compared to Leon, who's fucking RoboCop, killing everyone, no problem. But we got some grit with Leon, too, this time around. Some regret, which I really liked seeing. Some cool moments. But yeah, I thought it was a really good time. I really enjoyed my game, or my time with it, and I absolutely recommend it to everybody.
Leon's making all the ladies wet out there, I'll tell you that.
What he does,
man.
A
little too much? I was reading.
I mean, I'm on a show with your wife every week, so it's not too much. I'm used to
Yeah, no, I know. She's fucking out of her mind.
Yeah.
She's playing like these graphic novels. Not graphic novels.
I know, dude.
Visual novels.
Yeah.
And I keep telling her that she's cheating on me, which I think is so funny. But
yeah.
The thing she like, it's just like, I love how she just ends up alone.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't worry about it. She doesn't end up with anybody in any of them. Because she's like, I play as myself and I end up alone every time. Yeah. And it's happened multiple times. Yeah.
So it's funny, man. Like, but she doesn't seem too interested in Leon. But I was reading about the game, about the development of the game. And they were saying that the Capcom females at Capcom led the design of Leon to make him as like hot as possible to other women.
Smart.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, obviously he's very attractive. I got to say, Brad, I said this to Micah. She'll tell you. She'll reiterate. She can confirm it if you ask her. I said that Leon kind of looks like you, in my opinion. With the
whoa! Yeah. Don't give me that kind of. That's way too much praise, dude. No.
I believe like an older Leon, definitely with the hair and all. It looks kind of like you.
Okay, yeah. I'll take, dude. That's a hell of a compliment. I'll take it.
Yeah,
thank you,
sure.
Sir.
Good.
Holy shit.
Lockmort. Let's go to Belgium and get the Belgian experience on Resident Evil Requiem. What did you think about the newest Resident Evil title from Capcom?
I fully agree with you. I thought this game was exceptional. I just played through every single Resident Evil game. I streamed them all. I started the beginning of February, so they're very fresh in my mind. And I thought this one was amazing. I thought stylistically what they did here was fantastic with like the big letters on the screen when it switched to Leon the first time. I love it when games and movies did that. And I thought that was so well done here. I love the contrast between the level design, like the open world stuff. And then you got the arc, basically you're inside an iPod at the end, which is so beautiful. I played it on PC, path tracing, most beautiful game I've ever seen. Not just the opening scene that everyone wants to show off. I did that too. It's a great scene, great beautiful scene on the street when it's raining. But the whole game looks like that. It's beautiful. It's exceptional. There were a lot of member berries, but I thought they got to me. They really got to me this time. So I thought they were earned. They did a great job. I absolutely love this game. Normally, when I finish a game, I don't really want to replay it right away. This will be my first Resident Evil where I will do that. Ooh. I think that's the intention, of course. Everybody always does that. They play through them multiple times. I never do that, but this time I will.
Yeah, that's the design of it. I mean, that was I can't think of a franchise really in the story-driven single-player space that is more inclined towards making you replay it than these games. And actually, Capcom does that. I mean, old Onimusha games were the same. Devil May Cry is the same. But yeah, it's funny because I've never platinumed a Resident Evil game. And
they're so fun, dude.
It's just that there's always some weird thing with them where I'm like, I don't want to do this. It's not even the hardest difficulty level or whatever. It's like we were talking about the mercenaries mode or whatever the hell that was in Village, where I'm like, fuck this, I'm not doing this. This one I think I'm going to do, and then it makes me want to go back. So, Locke, I saw you streaming the Resident Evil games. You played RE1 through 8.
No, I played RE1 like a year or 2 years ago. I started with 2, and then I did all of them except for 5 and 6 because, well, 6 I didn't want to do, and 5 there was no time. But I did every single. Oh, we also didn't do 7. But I replayed 7, like, I think 2 years ago. I replayed 6, I think 5 years ago. So not that long ago.
Oh, so you've played those games. Yeah, because I've actually never played Resident Evil 6. I keep saying that on the shows. That I'm a huge Resident Evil fan. I mean, I consider myself a huge fan. I'm not like I was making fun of myself, and I think Dustin agrees. It's like, I don't really know what's going on in the overall story. Like, I really don't. I'm not even, I've literally played the first Resident Evil game in the summer of 1997. I rented it with my friend Steven, and it's been a long time. So it's like, I don't really know what the fuck's going on, but I know the characters, I know the general lore and Umbrella and the T-Virus and all that kind of thing. And so I do want to, this experience has made me want to get back to, I haven't played 5 since I was at IGN. I wrote the strategy guide for it. I beat it many times. I didn't like it at the time. I feel like I was probably a little hard on it. I didn't want action. 6, I know, leans into that. And I was reading and I'm like, I forgot, it's like 6 sold 15 million copies, dude.
It did.
It's like a lot. What the fuck? So I got to get back to those things. And of course, the rumors from Dust Golem, the Resident Evil leaker, is that RE1 is being remade.
Yeah.
Again, probably in time for 2030, I would say. So we will
35th.
We'll get Code Veronica next year, and then 0 in 28, then probably
9
10,
or 10. Sorry,
in 29, and then RE1R. Although a lot of people, that's pretty controversial because Resident Evil 1's remake on GameCube is pretty great, and I don't know that people really necessarily.
I'm for it.
Get it nonetheless.
Resident Evil 1 remake's my favorite Resident Evil game, and I'm all for it.
It's funny you say that, Brad, because I remember. I was my first year in college when it came out, and I remember I was so excited to get it.
Oh hell yeah!
And then of course you had RE2 and RE3 re-released on GameCube at that time, right before, and then Resident Evil 0 comes out. Then it's like that January. It was a really
Capcom 5,
and
baby.
then RE4.
Yeah.
So it was great. It was a great time.
Showpiece.
But then they turned into Capcom, and now they're back to Capcom, and now they're Capcom, like I said earlier.
Capcom.
Yeah, they're amazing. Yeah.
Dustin, let's hear from you. High level thoughts. We talked a little bit about it on the show. I tried to hold a back on it so we can talk about it more deeply here, obviously. And obviously we can spoil it and will spoil the game here. But what are your thoughts?
Yes. So I like this game a lot. I think it'll end up being one of my favorite games of the year. Visually amazing. I wasn't playing on PC like Locke, but I was playing on PS5 Pro, and across the board, like the not just the opening scene, but throughout the game looked absolutely incredible. And I really appreciate that Capcom, I don't want every developer to like really focus on graphics. I don't feel like everyone needs to do that. But through 7, 8, and now 9, there has been a considerable jump in each game without sacrificing the quality of the gameplay itself. So it's cool to see developers still doing that and striving and doing cool new things with the technology that they have available. I will say that if you listen to Sacred Symbols, I know some people, this is going to be contentious, but I am not as hot on this game as you guys are. And I think the general consensus of this game, I think that it's tough with the dual protagonist thing, because I think in one way they really pull it off because the gameplay of each section is so solid. They obviously have locked down the survival horror first person and then the action side between 7 and 8 and the remakes that they've been doing. My issue comes in is that I think that it feels like 2 separate Resident Evil games that are much shorter. And I think that you lose out on some of the satisfaction of progression through that. And I think the pacing of these 2 different sides can get weird at points. Like, I think the Leon section in Raccoon City is I don't want to say it's the worst section of the game, but I think it's a little long and bloated. And I think it's disappointing with Grace, on the other hand, that her first section in the hospital is amazing. And then her section towards the end of the game, that actually might be the worst section of the game. Where
when they go
like,
to the facility or whatever.
In the facility is just like, dude, it's so boring compared to what you did with her before. It's such a letdown.
I love the facility.
I love that too.
I think it's a cool facility. But I think that compared to the level design and the puzzles and everything that first section was, it was just like a coast down.
Oh, well, the beginning of Resident Evil games are always the best in every game.
Sure.
That's always the case.
Absolutely.
I agree about the orphanage, though. I thought the orphanage wasn't all that fun. Because you basically were just on rails.
Yeah, it wasn't.
That's the
I didn't even know
part.
what to do. It's like I died when you hide under the table from the girls, and then I was like, "What do you want me to do? Like, I don't understand. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, can I just move on?"
And then the checkpoint there was annoying too, because when you I hid under the table too, and then I crawled out, and then you have to go through the hallway, and then those two little girls are standing there. But then apparently you have to go back and then go back in, but it doesn't tell you that. So
it's one of those padding things. I was reading it as like, man, this is. Yeah, because exactly, you go and they're like backspacing you, then you have to leave, and then you have to go back, and then they're gone. It's like, well, how the fuck am I supposed to know that?
Yeah. The last thing I'll say to wrap up, because I'm sure we're going to get into this, is that the story in this game, I think, falls apart for me in the second half, in particular when we're dealing with Grace and her. We're trying to clone her because she's important. But then it's like, well, no, she's actually not important. She just needs to know a password. It gets weird. And we could talk about that. And one part where Locke, you mentioned this specifically, that I don't agree with is that the member berries, as you called it, the things that they bring from older games, some of it I think is earned really well. And other parts I'm like, this... It got the reaction from me where I was like, oh shit, it's Mr. X, you know, oh, holy crap. But why? There were multiple points in this where I was like, what's the point of, like, it felt like Capcom like jingling keys that were like, oh, look, we're going to bring back these things you love, even though it really isn't necessary or makes very much sense, which is why I compared it in Sacred Symbols to The Force Awakens, where it's like, well, we have the thing from before, but slightly different now. Remember this? Do you remember Mr. X? You remember how much you like him?
I think that's okay, though, because a lot of this game, I mean, the name implies a requiem of just a lot of past events. And we've never, like, had this for all of Leon's time.
Sure.
And it's like, this is the time to do it, I guess. Like, Mr. X I think is like the most egregious, but it doesn't really bother me because I'm like, you guys fucking kind of earned it after all this time with the restraint from him. Like, we're just now going to Raccoon City with Leon after all these years.
Yeah, I have no problem with going back to Raccoon City. And I actually have no problem with bringing back some of this old stuff. I just think that the way they did it wasn't earned. Like the fight with, is it Hunk?
Yeah.
Like, this is just so you can remember that other fight, even though it's not really
Hunk's
him.
Been like a fan favorite for a long time, and people have been wondering what the fuck Hunk's doing. I don't know if it's like kind of implied to be Hunk. It's not like officially confirmed because they don't call him Mr. Reaper or anything like that. And there's fucking clones, so who knows if this is actually Hunk, but I'm assuming more it is. But I'm just glad Hunk fucking showed up. He's been MIA for like 20 years. Finally. He's here, and it makes sense if he's working for the connections.
You also kind of relive Leon's trauma, I think. Like, this is that's maybe a little bit too deep, but I think it signifies that the whole game through, and well, I guess we can do spoilers right now.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
We're already spoiling the shit out of the game.
Oh yeah. Well, the whole way through, I thought he was going to die at the end, and in one ending he does, of course. But I thought that was going to be the canon ending, that he would die. So the whole game through, I was like, oh, they're bringing this back because he has to face like his fight. That's why I thought they brought Mr. X back, like give him some absolute closure here. Yeah, face his fears and stuff. That's how I saw it. And when you enter the RPD and you get in the library and the tool was still there, that stupid little tool got to me really hard because we left it there. We left it there 28 years ago. Even if you were one of the people who played the original and you didn't play the remake, you left that tool there and it's still there, which is so cool, I think. I haven't played any game ever who did that 28 years later where an item is still there that you left there.
It's the MGS4 moment. Return to Shadow Moses. Getting the flashbacks, the little images.
I thought, dude, the Raccoon City part, or not Raccoon City, specifically the RPD part, going back, seeing the puzzles unlocked, I'm like, this is sick. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. Though, if I'm trying to remember, Leon goes to RPD because that's where Grace is with what's his face, fake Wesker.
Zeno.
Yeah. Zeno.
Why did Zeno need to take her to RPD? Why didn't they just go straight to...
They were looking for something in the office, I think. I'm trying to remember. Not the STARS office.
I'm not trying to hit it on this point. I was trying to remember. I'm like, I don't remember why they were at RPD other than they were there. They were in the office where he explained a bunch of shit to her and then they left. And I'm like, well, I'm so glad we ended up at RPD, but I'm not sure like the reason why we're here, I don't think fully makes sense.
Sure.
It is you brought up an important point, I think, with Dustin, which is like, it is a different game than it was supposed to be, you know? That's something that I really didn't know very much about. I've been trying to stay away from this game as much as possible because I know I was going to play it and enjoy it. But, you know, we know it started as a multiplayer game and it is stitched together in a way where it does feel, it kind of feels like Final Fantasy 12, actually. In that that the game was directed by two different people. People say that there's like literally a place in the game where you feel like someone else took over. I haven't played it in years, so I don't remember. Actually, literally 20 years at this point, so I don't remember exactly what it was. But I remember people really saying that, and I think they actually did a really nice job of getting everything together. Like, for instance, the helicopter crash. Like, so Grace is in the helicopter with that dude. The helicopter crash. Leon sees the crash. He goes to like investigate it. She is in the church. She gets sent to the water treatment plant. He stays back and so like you can tell that they probably intertwined these things together in ways that made sense. And perhaps the Raccoon City stuff held up the worst. Although I agree that I loved going back to
RPD.
That police department is iconic. I can find my way around it in my head. I mean, not maybe to a, but you remember what it was, and then to see it like that. I always bring up Castlevania, but it reminds me a lot of Castlevania too. Just in, you go back to Dracula's like the castle you fucked up in the first one, to revive Dracula because you didn't kill him right. So, and you're in the ruins and you see things as they were, and I really enjoyed that. And frankly, I liked the Mr. X fight because what it implied was that he's just been there the entire time.
I think it's just a new model.
Oh, is it? I thought it was like I thought it was him just wandering around.
There's multiple Mr. or tyrants.
Yeah, they're tyrants, right? So yeah, right. Because I read it, and I guess it's my own ignorance. I was like, it's kind of cool, like these guys. Well, because the first time he runs into zombies, even he's like, why are there zombies here? Because he fights the spider first, and then when he gets to Raccoon City, which is a fun fight, and then it's kind of empty. And I think he's running in slowly running into things and realizing that this. Not everything is as it seems here. Abandoned. I love the idea of an abandoned American city, like a Chernobyl exclusion zone. I think that's
cool. That's Colin beat, dude.
It's super fucking cool. Also, and we'll get into it more, is that like The Last of Us was a major influence for that section. Like, there's no doubt in my fucking mind.
Sure.
So it's so funny. Like I'm replaying it now as I was saying, and I'm like, geez, man, it's so funny. Like how blatant it is, and yet, as I was saying on Sacred, they're one of the few staffs that can really do Naughty Dog style stuff. So it works really well.
I got to ask, before we move on from RPD, did you guys find the Easter eggs in RPD?
I don't know.
We have the PS1 with Mega Man 8, Street Fighter Alpha 2, and I think there's one more game, like the actual like PlayStation games, and Tofu. Did you guys find Tofu?
No,
I saw it online, but I didn't see it when I was playing.
I was playing, I heard this little like weird sound. I was like, what the fuck was that? Just look around, you see Tofu there. Dustin, I wonder what you'd think about that. That's like, hey, member berries, Tofu with the beret, you shoot him, he does that, nah, and he runs away.
Yeah. To me, that's like so silly that I like it, you know?
Tofu's now canon.
Yeah. Like, just to be 100% clear, I like that they brought back these things. I think it's cool and fun. I think that just once I finished the game and reflected, I was like, I wish they had done it in a way that made more sense than just like, oh, here you go, you know? I guess not. Silence.
Nope.
But isn't every Resident Evil game a little bit like that? Like it just happens out of nowhere and you just go along for the ride. Like none of these games have ever made me feel like they put like very much deep thought into the story, like or how people end up somewhere. Like why in Village? Why are you in a vampire infested castle there? And I mean, there's all these weird stuff always going on, right? So. You're right, of course. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but none of them do. So, I mean,
I agree. I think that Resident Evil is like a popcorn, B movie type situation with its story, for sure. I guess if you're going to go for the nostalgia play, I've been burned so many times by cheap nostalgia plays over the last 10 years that when I see them, I'm like, come on, man. You know, like it's not another Death Star. It's a planet. And it's like, oh, we're bringing this guy back. Does it make sense? Does it make sense how they have Luke's lightsaber in The Force Awakens? Nope. Does it make sense? Nope. It's like, but you're happy it's there. You got the pop out of him. So maybe it doesn't deserve to have more thought to it, but I guess I just wish it did.
Well, I'm looking at that, and I think they're at the RPD because apparently it contained records about the orphanage being the location for Ark. So maybe that's why they were there.
Maybe.
They're also not handing it over because I think if they handed it over to like the new generation and like Grace was the new protagonist forever, I would have agreed with you that it was Force Awakens. But it's not really, because the Force Awakens is like a vehicle to give it to the new generation, right? Like they get rid of the old cast. Here's the new cast.
Yeah, soft reboot.
Love them even if you don't want to. But here it kind of like it more sort of feels for the player here. It more so feels like it's earned for you as the player, not so much as the characters or the plot, but like you earned this.
Yeah, I think they did do a nice job in that this is clearly the end of the Umbrella arc, and they did a really nice job going. And they didn't. Retconning's not the right word, but they were able to recontextualize all the things around Umbrella to introduce, which they already introduced them in 7 and 8. But the what are they called, Brad? You said the connections, and I thought that was cool that they were able to like recontextualize things in order to progress things further into a new story.
Dustin, I'll tell you one thing: no story threads ever completely gone in Resident Evil. I thought Umbrella was gone when 4 came out. And they're like, hey, Umbrella's gone. It happened off screen. So it's like, okay. But now then we had Neo Umbrella in 7. Now we're getting back to Spencer stuff, which I thought was wrapped in 5.
Somehow Umbrella returned. Yeah. And this is where I like in Resident Evil games, especially because they're so staggered, is like I can't keep track of all of the interplay between
there's
the games.
So much.
I'm sure there is, and it's dope. I love that about it.
No, yeah, it's cool. I'm just saying, like, it's so hard to keep track of everything.
But it's like I don't know. It's been so long, and it's funny. I would love to have replayed a bunch of them, but there's just no time. Actually, playing this is like, man, I want to go back and just replay a bunch of them again, but there's no time to do it. There's Crimson Desert right around the corner and some other stuff. All right, let's get into some of the stuff here. All right, so Resident Evil Requiem, Resident Evil 9 came out February 27th. And I wanted to go through some of the personnel because I thought this was interesting that worked on it. There's a bunch of directors. The game has like 5 directors. I don't know if you noticed that.
One of those. Gotcha.
But the game director, the overall director, is Koshi Naganishi. He was the director of Resident Evil 7. He also directed Revelations and Mercenaries 3D, interestingly. He was a designer, one of the lead designers on RE5. And I thought this was interesting about him. He was at Acquire before Capcom and was the director of Way of the Warrior, some of the Shinobito games.
Oh, no way.
And he was an artist on Tenchu 1 and 2. So
wow,
yeah.
Sick.
Whoa.
So he's been around for a long time. The art director is Tomonori Takano, and he was the art director of Resident Evil 6, 7, and 8. He was a modeler and designer on RE5, on Lost Planet 2. He worked on DMC4, Monster Hunter. And then the executive producer is Jun Takeuchi, right? Takeuchi, who's pretty well known, I think, in the space. He's the executive producer of all the Resident Evil games back to RE7. He produced RE5. He produced Lost Planet, Onimusha 3, and Kunitsugami, one of my favorite Capcom games.
Oh.
He also directed Onimusha 1. Pretty interesting.
Shout out, dude.
Model and motion designer for Resident Evil Director's Cut, Resident Evil 2, Onimusha 2, Onimusha 3, and his earliest. So I love this kind of stuff. It's the same thing as Japanese when it's like scenario, which means like writer. There's a Japanese title in old games, scroll design, which is menus, and he did the menus in Street Fighter 2 and Mega Man 5.
Wow,
which I thought was interesting. So he's been at Capcom for
that's
a minute.
pretty sick.
And then the game had 2 producers. One of them is Masato Kumazawa, this is only his 4th game, and he's new. He produced Kunitsugami and the RE4 remake and RE8 expansions, which is interesting. And then the other producer is Masachika Kawada, producer of RE4, RE5, Revelations 1 and 2, a bunch of other spinoffs. Dead Rising Director's Remix, or whatever the fuck it's called, which was
Dead Rising, like remaster.
Yeah, Dead Rising digital remake. I don't know what the fuck it was called, but
yeah,
I
it's a weird name.
And the Mega Man Battle Network collection. So dudes with a lot of experience. Just wanted to give them a shout out because I think that they came together and did a really nice job. And especially Nakanishi, who's the director of RE7. Like RE7 saved the franchise in a way. It's funny to say it because Resident Evil, as we said, Resident Evil 6 made so much money and actually was a massive success. And yet Capcom understood that there was something off about it and people didn't like it, which is why it took 5 years in between 6 and 7 as they were trying to figure it out. And I think 7 was so surprising how good it was, not only with the perspective change, but just everything about it was great. It's funny because I have not played it since around the time it came out, but I remember being like, damn, they really did figure it out. And so I guess what I'm saying is you got to give Capcom credit because the direction they were going in with 6 and 5 was commercially working. Like these games were selling more and more, and yet they read the room so well because you can imagine an RE7 coming out a little earlier, going in a different direction, and the Resident Evil's done. And they did a really nice job. And I will say, again, it's been so long since I played some of them, but it's like 9 is in the pantheon of 4 and 2, I guess for me. Maybe it would be the top 3 in there. I really liked Village. I really like 7, but I think that this is better than that as well. And it feels like that's kind of a consensus opinion. Some people say this is the best Resident Evil game ever. I don't know about that, but that's recency bias. We got to let this rest for a minute.
Yeah, we got to let it rest for a while.
I can say it's my favorite for sure. Because everybody loves 4. I wasn't a huge fan of 4. I love 2 the best. I love 2 and 1 the best, apart from this one. But why I like this one the best now, or I think this is the best one, is because it also got me into the action. Normally, I like the survival horror aspects, but here I was really glad when it switched to the action parts because those are usually the parts where I'm not a huge fan of. But here I thought they were great. So this had a perfect mix for someone like me. Filthy Westaboo or whatever you call me.
Westaboo,
for someone like me, this was perfect. But I think if you are more action oriented or you only like survival horror, of course, this won't be the best one, I guess.
Yeah, they definitely, I think beginning with 7, obviously have tried to meld survival horror back in, and I think they've done it pretty well. And now they're literally giving you the best of both worlds in this game, which is cool. I think I would prefer. It's funny to say because I love the Leon parts and it's fun to play that way. But like there's a trophy for killing 300 zombies, for instance, which you get in your first playthrough, and I'm like, did you even kill 300 anything in the first 4 games combined?
No.
And it's like, to me, 5 was the first one I played where I'm like, damn, they were really going all out with like the combat, and it bothered me. It was a totally fun, ample third person shooter.
Really? 4 didn't do that for you?
Not as much, no.
Oh man.
4, well, certainly 4 opens with up, like the village area
whole village.
Like, and there are certainly more enemies there than there have ever been in any other Resident Evil games, but I still feel like, and I haven't played it somewhat recently again, it's like this still has its roots in survival horror. It's really not unlike Dead Space or something like that, where there are enemy arenas and stuff like that, but it feels quaint compared to where they would go later, in my opinion.
5 ratchets it up for sure.
And I was going to look, it probably is hard to quantify, but I was going to see like this, has anyone counted, because it's probably not possible. After a certain point, there might even be parts that respawn enemies and stuff, but it's like, how many kills are in each game?
Oh, I'm sure people will figure that out.
And it's a lot in this game. And so it does reduce the survival horror aspect of it, but I enjoyed the mixture. And I guess my high level thought before we get into the nitty gritty is this game, like many other Resident Evil games, give me a feeling of exploration in place that I don't really experience in a lot of games. And I think people often look towards open world games as like these ultimate arbiters of like, this is storytelling. Like this is environmental storytelling. This is discovery and all that. I'm like, that is cool. There's no doubt that the first time you play Fallout 3 and you're like, go anywhere you want. It's fucking crazy. And it's awesome. And that's always going to be a memorable experience to me. But the tight design of a small enclosed space is classic Resident Evil, which is why I think, again, the Renwood Hotel is pretty cool in the beginning, but when you go back to the Roadsill Chronic Care Center, like that is the mansion of the game. And there's something so special about it, so unique, that I know began with technically on NES or Famicom with Sweet Home, and that's the inspiration for Resident Evil, and I get all of that, but there's just a presence in the good Resident Evil games, whether it's the mansion or Raccoon City Police Department or the small Spanish village or the village in Resident Evil 8 or the backwoods of Resident Evil 7, where it's like, you don't need this dynamism of open dynamic worlds. All you need is like this really tightly designed, open, almost, as Dustin and I think and I were discussing it, almost Metroidvania-like. And it's funny that I'm a huge Metroidvania fan around that. Before I even ever played Resident Evil, because Super Metroid, and Castlevania 2, and then Symphony of the Night comes out the next year from Resident Evil. And so like, I've always been into those, but for some reason, and I've said this many times, it's a 2D genre. And I do believe that. Like when people say like Darksiders is a Metroidvania or Zelda is and I'm like, no, it's not. But I can kind of see it more. And the idea of just intimately, not unlike the Ishimura in Dead Space, the idea of intimately being in a space, going over it over and over again, the surprises and the way things change and the new enemies and the jump scares, it's just expertly executed. And that's why I was so surprised. I beat the game. It told me I beat it in like 11 hours and 50 minutes. I'm like, there's no way.
Yeah. No, I think that's in-game timer.
Right. Because it's like, this goes all the way back to Resident Evil 0 for me, because I remember it so well, is like, the train in the beginning of Resident Evil 0.
Oh, that's so good.
And then you go to like, and I would do it over and over again because I'm like, no, it's not good enough. I wasted too much ammo. I used too many herbs. And I did that a lot in this game, where I'm like, nah, I don't like that. And I would just go back to my last save. I saved 75 times at a typewriter in my first playthrough.
Really? That's so funny.
And the second, so now I'm playing through on not on casual, on classic difficulty, which is technically hard, I guess. Because it would be like easy, normal, hard, very hard. And I'm playing it on hard, and I've only saved 9 times. And I'm in Raccoon City because you have to use ink ribbons, and I love ink ribbons. I think that's such
that's the way I played it. Gotta use ink ribbons.
I've always loved that idea.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Like even when I was a kid, I'm like, that's so. You can't really articulate it when you're 12 or 13, but I'm like, that's so clever.
Well, especially when it was a typewriter that you'd say that.
Right.
You're like, oh, it's perfect. Makes sense.
Right. Exactly. And just this idea that the horror is ratcheted up, not only because you can't control the characters very well in the early Resident Evil games, but you kind of have to figure it out, and you can only save in a finite amount of times. And I love that kind of shit, man. So I think the game really nailed place, feeling, and exploration in ways that Resident Evil has rarely even ever done. Again, it reminds me a lot of 2 in that regard. I mean, and that's why I loved going back to the Raccoon City Police Department, because that's such an iconic place in my mind, in the gamer mind for me. The other thing I really loved was some of the characterization. I actually liked Grace a lot. I just think she's annoying, but I understand. It's not that I blame her for the way she's reacting in real time. It's that I don't need to hear it as the player. That's my whole thing. It's like, shut up, dude. Like, it's just annoying. Like, I get it. You're scared. Like, I don't need to hear it for hours and hours and hours in my ear, my headphones as I'm playing the game.
You know what's funny, Colin? I remember people complaining about the Evil Within because Sebastian didn't react enough to some of the counters. So it's like,
can't have
never please everybody.
Yeah, you can't please. And I will say this too. I thought Gideon's a dope villain.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Cool.
Yeah, he's sick.
Awesome. He's awesome.
And I said it on the stream, right, Dustin? He reminds me of a Batman villain. Yeah, and I think a lot of it is because he's playing it like Heath Ledger plays the Joker. There's that really cool scene when Grace is where is it? It's actually in notes. It's right before you go to
like
Raccoon
that
City.
office where he's hiding. She's hiding, right?
Right. And there's this dope thing where he's on the phone and then he's like, I did it. And then he like does this thing and then he just stops talking and walks really quickly through the door. Like just really cool characterization. I like that villain a lot. And then I don't really understand the what's his name? Xenon? Zeno. Because when I saw him first, I'm like, is that Wesker?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think there's a couple things. Either it's a clone of Wesker, which I'm assuming is like the main case because there are clones, or it's another one of the Wesker children because there are multiple, and we've seen another one, Alexis from what is it, Revelations 2?
And you play as one of Wesker's kids in 6, right?
Yeah, Jake.
Right.
So I'm assuming it's just a clone.
It is a clone because he calls him an imitation.
Yeah, cheap imitation. Yeah.
I love the and I was pointing out to Mike as I was playing. I'm like, I just love the little perks and quirks of the characters that I think are really cool. Like Gideon, I just love that he has like the optometrists. Like there's just really cool design, and I love the Xeno character here. Just like has like the one earring and smoking cigarettes, and
the exact opposite of Wesker. Wesker always wear all black, and he's wearing all white all the time.
It's cool. They do a really nice job. It's subtle and yet really well executed. And I'm just so impressed with the game. Like I don't know if I'm gushing over it as much as I'm just like, damn, dude, this is really, it's just expertly done. I mean, this is AAA gaming, or at least what it should be. And the arguments about the length of the game and all that's like, you don't like this game stuck around the perfect amount of time. It's highly replayable.
Is that typical to a Metroidvania? Because you guys play those games way more than me. What I love too, what this game does, and I call it the Bethesda effect, because Bethesda games do this, is it remembers what you did. If you do something as Grace, like you shoot a zombie and his head splatters that way, and you come there in the same location as Leon, you can still see that zombie laying there with the blood spattered the way you took care of him as Grace. Or if you leave zombie A alive and Leon gets there, zombie A is still alive.
Right.
That's
which
like
is
A
really
and B
cool
scenario stuff from the old games.
Yeah, Metroidvanias don't typically do that because, like, if you play Symphony of the Night, for instance, and you go off a screen and go back, it doesn't even know you were there. Everything will respawn.
Yeah, reset.
But there's that Metroidvania essence, in my opinion, of just like the I know I need something to get through here, and it would be like a double jump or something in that game. But here it's like, I need a key or I need to solve the puzzle. And one of the cool things I really liked about they kind of loop the circle around, but in Roadsill Chronic Care Center, one of the things I thought they were doing, which I thought was cool, was that you were solving the puzzle and then it doesn't end up mattering, which I thought was, but then they end up going back and you do end up solving the puzzle. But I thought it was kind of cool, like when you get 2 of the 3 prisms or whatever, and then you end up underground, it's like, it didn't matter, which I thought was kind of neat. But then you end up back there anyway, and it did actually end up mattering. So, all right, let's get into some of the story stuff, and we can go from there. So we meet Grace in the FBI Midwest field office. She's gotten a very messy, darkened cubicle. She's very studious, obviously. We learn more about her. And her boss comes and says he needs a quote-unquote good technical analyst to go to the scene of her mother's murder. This is one of the funny things in the game is like, there are certain funny moments, and I'll bring them up as we go through, where I'm like, why? Like, why are you doing this to her? It's like time for you to get over the place where you watched your mom get decapitated.
Get over it, Grace. Yeah. Be a baby.
It's just a little exposure therapy.
Right.
Not prescribed by a doctor, by your boss.
It's kind of strange when you think about it, but they do it nonetheless. And she ends up out there. And as you brought up earlier, Locke, like that beautiful city street scene is just incredible and sets the scene so nicely. And I don't know, man, I just loved it. But then you end up at the Renwood Hotel and you're investigating through all of that and trying to tie in, I guess people have been dying mysteriously. And I guess, Brad, you would know this best, is like the game is basically about like this idea that the T virus is latent, right? That like there's like a form of it that's like slow acting and starting to turn people.
Yeah, like Raccoon City syndrome or something they call it.
Right, but many years later.
Yes.
Like, right. And so it's kind of a neat idea.
Yeah,
and,
it is. But I was like, well, what's going on with Chris? Or I mean, like in Jill, who was in 3 in Raccoon City. Didn't get Jill. I was hoping we'd get Jill because of that.
Jill sandwich.
Fucking Capcom won't do it.
So yeah, what did we think about this section? Dustin, we haven't heard from you in a while. Did you enjoy the opening section of the game? I mean, talk to us a little bit about the Renwood Hotel.
I love the creepy, dilapidated buildings. That's one of the reasons why I love 7 so much. And so you get that in this opening section. Capcom classic new move is to always like show you some nasty ass food
Oh,
at the beginning.
gross.
I love that. And this part's great too, just because I love how you're so like you have no way to attack. Like she has no way of defending herself. Not that you really need it in this opening area, but when you're first playing the game, you don't know what's going on or what you're going to have to do. I love the cop that gets, turned into a zombie, and there's the part with the fire poker that goes through his face, and it sets the tone right off the bat, like over the top disgusting stuff is going to happen in this game. That's actually what got us demonetized on, not demonetized, but limited on YouTube. I didn't tell you this, Colin. I cut out the section that it flagged, and then it re-reviewed it, and it's like, yeah, there's nothing you can really do.
Yeah,
we can't fix this.
I went in the back end and looked, and it did say specifically, it's like, you will not be able to edit this to make it. Well, I don't understand why that is.
Yeah.
Because you could do that to videos. For people that don't know, if your video, I think, is below 100,000 views, you can go and edit it on YouTube and cut things out. And it was funny because I was replaying it, and that early section is so fucking gory and bloody in the hotel, and I was like, yeah, like what was I thinking about thinking that but I was making Michael laugh because I was like, but it's fictional. Like I just thought it didn't really matter, people play games all the time on there. Go ahead, Locke.
Yeah, it's weird that happened to you guys because there's so many playthroughs, like so many people who streamed it too who didn't have that issue. So I don't know why it happened to you guys.
Yeah, it sucks because it cut down our traffic a lot and our ability to kind of monetize it too. But it's like whatever. I don't really care about that. But yeah, I was confused about that too because it does. It's one of those learning things. I'm like, all right, I guess I just won't play truly violent shit on the stream anymore. But yeah, I didn't think it would be a problem for some reason. But that's my own ignorance.
Yeah.
Were you done, Dustin?
Yeah, I think so. I love the return to a dilapidated building. Not that I don't love the hospital is also great, but it's much fresher, which has other interesting things that we'll get into. But it was a nice way to set the scene. I think maybe you hadn't, Colin, but we saw the scene with Grace's hot mom and in one of the trailers initially setting things up. And man, I love how he gets the bag over his head, his throat slit right in front of you.
Yeah,
I think it was important. I think they could have left that mystery longer, but I'm glad they didn't because it really set up like Grace has a lot of fucked up shit in her past. She witnessed people getting their throat slit, including her own mother.
Yeah, she basically almost gets decapitated.
Yeah. So I like that it was a nice setup to Grace as a character. So because in Resident Evil games, maybe not 7 as much, but you're used to playing someone that at least is prepared for the situation. Leon going in Resident Evil 4 or 2, he's a police officer. It's maybe a bit above his pay grade, but he's equipped to some degree. Grace is not equipped. She's a dork that hangs out on Reddit, and then her mom gets killed. And now she's been abducted. So it adds a little nice context to like why she's a little bit helpless in certain points.
Brad, talk to us a little bit about this early section of the game. What stands out to you?
I was just happy to see more of the world, like a big sprawling city actually for a little bit, to see everyday life in there. Of course, I do like these sections in games. I always like the first playthrough, but on replays, I don't like them as much. Like the very slow kind of walking part, picking up a couple things and waiting for cutscene to happen. But the first time, really cool. Like you said, love seeing the cop turn into the zombie. That was really awesome. And it was good to see Alyssa again. She's been MIA for a long time.
Yeah, she's in
the File games.
Yeah,
the Outbreak games, I mean.
Right. And those are old. Those are 20 plus years old, right?
PS2 games. So
I'm happy. Yeah, I'm not that into the lore where I'm like, I don't think I even played those games. So yeah, I thought it was neat too. Do you have anything you want to say about this this early section?
Well, I just thought it was a very standard Western build-up, which usually these games don't have. Like before you get thrown into a Spanish village to look for the president's daughter, or then in 2, there's the virus outbreak immediately. You get to the gas station, immediately get attacked. But here, I think she gets sent to the hotel to investigate the deaths of like the Raccoon City survivors, right? That's why she's there. She's not there for her mom. It just happens to be the same hotel, right?
Right.
So I think that's a very natural setup, which is usually not something we get in these games. So I love that. I thought that was great. And of course, like we said before, the streets look incredible. I don't know how they did it. Beautiful.
Yeah, RE Engine is really nice for these tight experiences. Not, I guess it suffers a little more in open world or open area games, but they didn't. They're one of the few companies that has a proprietary engine that they use, and I think it's working out really nicely for them. I liked this early section. I agree with you, Dustin, the exploration of these like dilapidated areas. I just like the exploration and the it's weird. It's a weird word to use, but the coziness of these sections of just like feeling like you're alone and you can just explore and look around and look at the assets and read the documents. And it's just, this is one of those games I don't think you should play quickly. There's no reason to. It's like, it's just kind of poke around. There's things everywhere to find, and they throw that in immediately in the game. It's obviously a very easy puzzle because like you find her picture, there's a key behind it, use the key to get through the door, you go inside, like there's the phone and so it's not too complex, and then you ultimately have to run away from the zombie through the locked door. So they're kind of setting you up for maybe even for newcomers or for people that haven't played in a while that are lapsed to reacclimate themselves to like what it is to play Resident Evil, that you can interact with items and spin them and do all that kind of stuff. And they're teaching you that quickly. So it's kind of a subtle tutorial. I really do dig once Gideon, Gideon has the body slung over his shoulder, like Grace's comatose body. And I love that scene where he's outside and the woman comes up and she's like, is she okay or whatever? And then he just like takes out the gun and just shoots a few of them. And I love the last shot. We talked about it on the stream. Like he just subtly shoots the last person and puts the gun away and just keeps walking. It's just really well done. And you know what this section reminded me of?
Last of Us.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first of several touchstones where I'm like, this is The Last of Us. Like I would be shocked. Like you're running through, all the cars are crashing, all of the crazy shit's happening around you. It's kind of guiding you. I'm like, this is The Last of Us. And it's funny because the first time I played it, I didn't pick that up as much as I did the second time. When I went to Raccoon City, I'm like, oh my God, this is like a scene in The Last of Us, like a 2-hour scene. But that little thing, I'm like, yeah, they were inspired by it. It's cool. And I think I got to read more interviews. I don't know if anyone's asked them this, but it's obvious. Don't you guys agree, or am I overreading it?
Sure, yeah. I mean, I could see elements of it because, clearly, Last of Us was inspired by Resident Evil to some extent as well. So it's great to see them taken from each other.
For sure.
Especially when the people are running down the street. That reminded me instantly of like the car scene at the beginning of The Last of Us. When you're in the car and then the whole town goes crazy. It was basically the same scene, the exact same scene, basically.
Now, one of the cool things about playing the game a second time, and I don't know if this happens depending on the difficulties you played, but I played on normal and now again I'm playing on hard. So I played on modern standard difficulty and now I'm playing on classic standard difficulty or whatever. And then there's insanity after that, which you unlock the first time you beat it. But Leon gets access to his experience points immediately when you play it a second time.
Yeah.
So there are ways, like, so in the beginning of the game you're kind of running and bobbing and weaving, but actually the second time you play through it, what I enjoyed about it was it kind of behooves you to shoot and kill some guys because you're actually just starting to farm these valuable experience points that you use later. And Leon doesn't, I don't know if it's true on classic, it must not be true on classic difficulty the first playthrough, but on the second playthrough you don't find any weapons in the environment. So you can even get to the part, where you have to use a sniper rifle to protect Grace outside the church. Like you can get to that part without a sniper rifle. Like it won't. So you have to start farming points and buying everything. Everything becomes available to you immediately. And I thought that was really cool. There are a lot of cool things that draw you through to a second playthrough. Grace doesn't change so much except for her use of ink ribbons, but which I saved way too many. Like I'm in Raccoon City and I think I have 9 ink ribbons and 8 tins or something. It's like, why am I just I'm so afraid of using them. But yeah, that's that early section in the Redwood Hotel is great. I loved. Do she and her mom live in that hotel room and sleep in the same bed and stuff like that? I don't really understand what's going on with that.
I don't think they live in there. They're just kind of on the run. Well, maybe they're staying in there for a while, but she's kind of on the run. It feels like because you read those documents, she knows someone's following them around. So
you think she would tell her daughter, because it's like she answers the phone and they're like, "Is this Grace Ashcroft or whatever?" And she's like, "Yeah." And then it's like, why not just be like maybe the mom should tell you something, like she's hiding everything. I'll tell you one day.
Yeah, she probably should have.
Dude, she's really busy on Reddit, dude.
Yeah, she was. She's a huge dork.
Well, I don't know if it was real. Did you guys see like someone use like a no clip camera and it's a Reddit thread talking about the bakers?
Yes, I did see that actually.
Oh,
this morning.
The Resident Evil 7 family.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because so she's already, in the past, like starting her investigation into Umbrella and stuff like that.
That's so interesting.
The fact that they took the time to put that asset in, I think it's real. Maybe it's not. And if not, then it's a very clever, funny idea. But dude, have you guys been seeing the memes about young Grace? That's like, she looks like she'll tell you how to mod a 3DS.
Yeah.
Yes, I have.
Gene's been retweeting them. They're very good.
There's a funny video going around too, like where it's the edit of the original, like the when she's like at her cubicle but it's Ice Cube.
Yes, yelling at her.
Yeah, yelling at her from like another movie.
Yeah.
Dude, it is so, I was like dying laughing. I'm like, this is fucking awesome. This is so funny. People are all over it already, doing great things. And by the way, congratulations to the game. And we're recording this, it's going to be a little out of date at that point, but 5 million copies in 5 days, I think. Which is the
selling RE game.
Yeah, the velocity of it is huge. Because I think it took RE4R 5 months or something to reach that many. Maybe 1 million per month. I mean, it would obviously sold, it was front loaded, but that's a big, it's just surprising to me because, and I understand that that's why they don't put 8 and 9 and stuff like that into the name so they don't turn people off. But it's surprising that people are willing to jump in this late in the game, pardon the pun, because that's obviously what's happening. There's just no way that it's selling at that velocity all to people fans of the franchise. I don't think so. It's a little noobish, if I'm being honest, but that's okay.
You got
not a big deal.
Characters that look cool, people want to play as.
Yeah,
caught in the zeitgeist.
Sure, nothing wrong with that. All right, so ultimately we turn over to Leon. Now I've said this ad nauseum, and I just want to add it one more time to the record. They should have kept all this secret, but I understand that they couldn't. I understand it would have leaked. It would have, but it's just I couldn't help but put myself in the mind frame of being like, wait, what? Like when you see that icon him from behind, that iconic haircut, and you hear the voice, it's the same voice from 2 and 4. I was just like, damn, dude, that would have been such a fun young Drake style, Abby style, whatever surprise of just being like, oh shit. Like there's this whole other aspect of the game. I wish that we lived in a culture that would have respected that secret and allowed people to enjoy it, but I know that we don't. And I would have loved to see, did any of you get a review build of it by chance? No. I would have loved to see the paperwork that came with it, because Brad, you know this especially, like a lot of these games come with these things where it's like, don't read this until you beat the game.
Right.
And then it'll say like all the things that are not supposed to be shared in reviews and stuff like that. And I wonder what their thing was with this. And that would have been really hard to manage. And of course, physical copies walking away from manufacturers, and it would have leaked. But I got to just throw that out there because I was like, damn, that would have been such a magical, crazy thing. And people would have loved it. They would have shit themselves, but it would have been ruined immediately. I mean, people wouldn't have been able to keep their mouths shut.
Yeah. Leon's too important for marketing.
He is. I mean, he is. Especially old Leon, like,
Yeah.
Tired Leon.
Yeah.
Battered Leon. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there. So yeah, you have this early scene and you get used to him as well. This is when he runs through all the cars, and we end up at Roadsill Chronic Care Center. This is really the main setting of the game for a long portion of it. And I loved it, man. I just loved this space. I thought it was so cool. There's so many little things in it. Obviously you're in the gurney in the beginning. She's got to kind of free herself. I feel like she makes it a little harder for herself than she needs to. Like first of all, she's making a fucking racket, but they acknowledge that because she keeps looking at the door and everything like that. But obviously Gideon's far away. But that one thing where she like kind of moves and like I understand, who am I to say this, but it's like, couldn't you just like grab your leg and try to, it's like, she's lucky she didn't break a bone or something like that.
Give her a break, Colin, man. She just got fucked up. She's just recovering upside down, dude.
You got to figure it out. What do we think about the Roadsill Chronic Care Center, Brad?
Okay. I love this area because it is like the perfect blend of the Spencer Mansion and the Beacon Mental Hospital from the Evil Within. If you remember that, Colin.
I never played Evil Within.
Oh, you never played Evil Within, dude? No. What the fuck?
Well, I played a little bit, but I never played. I played it for maybe a few hours, but I never beat it.
Holy shit, Colin. You got to play that game. Dude.
Yeah, I know. I own it. I own both of them. But
dude, okay. But I loved it. Like you were saying, it has like the really classy interior. Like I loved the parlor, the little section where you put the coins in, of course, the little 7 nods there. and the lounge at the top where they had the singing lady and like those two guys walking around. Loved all that kind of shit. The more interiors, the offices and all that. But then you get to the East Wing, and it's all like the hospital stuff and the patient area. So perfect blend of that. Really well designed, multiple floors. Never felt like I got lost too much, but it still had a really good sense of discovery. Lots of really cool, interesting stuff to find. And it's interesting. They give you a lot of coins that you don't
They give you
need.
way too many.
Yeah.
I think there are 7 too many. If you find them all.
Like, damn.
Because the singing girls drop them. That was one of my complaints actually about Roadsill Chronic Care Center, and it actually comes back up again later too, is every safe you open has coins in it. It was a little anticlimactic. I mean, they're obviously important currency to unlock, more
Right.
space for your inventory and all the rest, but it's like, when I realized, I'm like, oh my God, that's so bummer. I was excited to see, like, oh, what's going to be in this one? What's going to be in this one? It's the same thing of when you unlock with a lockpick the drawers and the cabinets, and they all have metal components that make nice bullets for the revolver.
Yeah.
So it's like, I was a little disappointed in that. I'm like, it lacks a little bit of surprise.
Here's my disappointment with the entire game, and this has been a trend in Resident Evil games. Not enough puzzles in these video games, man. They're kind of skipping over them all the time. There's like the ones you solve with like the samples to like 3D print stuff or whatever. And there's one where it's like the mirror where you have to or look at the photographs to solve like that little like slot machine
right.
stuff in.
Yeah.
Not enough, man. We need more puzzles in Resident Evil games again. I know people like you, Colin, don't like them a lot, but I fucking miss those, dude. Bring them back.
I mean, I will say the game was easy from that perspective. Usually I'll get stuck on something where I'm like, I don't know. Like, it's one of those games where I'm like, I didn't need a guide at all to beat it. I don't think most people would. But there are like puzzles even in RE1 where it's like, I don't know what the fuck you want me to do here, man. Like, I don't miss that adventure game frustration. I will say. I know that is part of the Resident Evil DNA for a lot of people. But yeah, I didn't necessarily miss that.
Most people probably don't. That's why they don't really do it anymore. So I understand. But I'm like, fuck. Bring that shit back. Also, side tangent. Bring the letter grades back at the end.
Yeah.
I don't know why you ditched that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I agree, because I was curious, because I'm like, I saved so many times. They're going to fucking... and just in my mind, I'm like, I wonder what grade I'm going to get, because I saved like so many times. And then at the end, it just doesn't tell you anything.
Yeah, I missed that. It was so cool.
Yeah, it was cool. It was fun. That's very Capcom as well. Whether it's Onimusha, Devil May Cry, Resident Evil, all in Lost Planet, Dead Rising, everyone did that. All their games did that. So it is a little strange that they got rid of that. One funny thing I had to tell you guys about that. So there are just funny things that I think in this game, like, that don't make any sense. One of them is Grace needing Emily to solve the Braille puzzle by bringing her to it. And I'm like, wouldn't it be easier for you to like make a facsimile of the dots on the Braille and then say, which one is sun? Which one is moon? I'll go figure. Instead, she's like, it could be an hour before you even get there. She's like, I need you to go do this and then put it in this order. And then she like places her on the couch, like, as she like figures out how she's going to get her to that room. And I'm like, yeah, this is ridiculously overcomplicated. Also, can someone get Grace a rag so she can wipe off all of her sweat? I'm sure someone will buy the rag. Someone will buy the rag.
Someone would buy it.
Who would buy it?
Oh, yeah.
What'd you say, Dustin? I didn't hear you.
I said someone would buy it.
Oh, definitely. They bit all over that thing.
It's funny you say it because, Colin, she has the paper and the pencil or whatever that we use to like scribble in already. Right.
That just made me laugh. I'm like, your solution is to break this helpless blind girl out that you have to carry across the mansion to solve this puzzle. I'm like, it's kind of silly when you think about it. And then she has to like lock herself in there as she figures it out. I'm like, none of this was necessary. Grace, you didn't think this one through. I understand things are going crazy. It's all happening in real time, but I'm afraid you didn't think this one through. Yeah. She's Idiot. A little weird in that regard. But I loved some of you're right about the differences between the wings and all of the different locations, and how, just like in any good survival horror game, whether it's Dead Space or the Resident Evil games or whatever, you just get to know your way around.
Yeah.
I loved the chef character that just pokes around, and I avoided I wanted to save my bullets and stuff my first playthrough, so I didn't fight him. And then you get a letter when you go back as Leon. That's in like one of the cabinets that tells you it's like I gave the key to the pantry to the chef. And I was like, oh, so you can get into that pantry really early. So I actually killed him. You can actually just kill him with one of the needles.
Yeah, the injector thing. Yeah. That's what I did. I wasted 2 magnum shots on that guy's head, and I was like, okay, this guy's indestructible. I'll come back later.
Yeah, so but once you clear him out, everything becomes much easier. And I do like the interplay between, and this is what you were saying earlier, Locke, in this particular space, it seems like, and I don't know if I'm reading it right, but it seems like what you do with one is there or not in the other. So you could, what's fun about being Grace in that space first is that you could clear it out pretty thoroughly to make it easier for Leon, even though that doesn't really make any sense. And then you can run through it later, which I just thought was cool. And yeah, like the singing lady, and you have to kind of get behind her and kill her. A lot of really good shit in there. Dustin, what were your thoughts here on the Roadsill Chronic Care Center?
Dude, the zombies. The zombies in this section, best zombies ever in a Resident Evil game. I like that there's like you find out it's like an Order 66 moment where they're like, oh, I don't need this facility anymore. Launch the zombies. And I like this idea that I don't think this was the case in any other game, but the fact that they are so recently turned, or whatever strain of T-virus this is or whatever, that they are retaining some of their past self. So like there's the cleaning lady in the bathroom. The bathroom is completely fucked up with blood, and she's just like smearing the blood all over the walls. There's the zombie that doesn't like the light switch, and he's like flicking it on and off. The singing ones, of course, you guys mentioned, super creepy. And I like that they have that cool ability that they scream and it kind of draws all the other zombies to you, and it like, shell shocks you for a second. Was really neat. There's like there's ones that are really aggressive, I think more in the hospital side, that practically look like they're doing like mosh moves in a pit at certain points where they're like running at you and like, they're ready to throw down. I like that there was also the puzzle, which wasn't a very good puzzle, but it was still cool, where it's like you had to put the pieces of like the organs in the body.
Oh, yeah.
And I love that you put it together and then it comes to life and she's like, come on, man, come on. I love that. I thought that was so cool. I like the introduction, and I guess this isn't just this section, but the system where you need to collect the blood in order to craft was kind of interesting throughout the game. And how you had like the blood packet so you could kind of keep it, in your inventory to like save for later and stuff like that was cool. But yeah, the zombies in particular, dude, the chef one was like visually so cool.
Awesome.
You can also kill the other big boy later.
The fat guy that
the fat one that is like can barely get through the doorways and stuff. I didn't know you could kill him until after I had gotten through that section, because Jimmy was like, yeah, he takes 4 magnum shots or something like that. And I was like, I wish I would have done that. But he's cool also. And yeah, I have to agree with you, Brad. The puzzles were a little bit lacking, but it didn't hurt the experience too bad for me in that section.
Oh yeah, I'm the minority in that. Totally.
Yeah. Overall, this part was my favorite part of the game.
Yeah, I think for me too. It felt the most Resident Evil for sure. And I kind of dug slinking around as Grace, just in trying to play it kind of straight, where she wouldn't really be fighting. I do like when she uses the Magnum. She can't use it again for a few moments, and she's like kind of staggered because the kickback is so extreme. Locke, do you have anything you want to add about this section?
Well, like Dustin said, I thought the zombies here were exceptional. I recorded a lot of footage, and a lot of footage in this part of the game was just following those zombies around because I wanted to see what they were doing. And there's this section, the section where you get the pencil to rub on the paper to see the puzzle. There's this, you're in the office of like the director of the hospital or a boss or whatever, or whatever he's called. And he's strangling this other zombie on the floor. And if you stay there long enough, you can hear him say, "You are fired," in like a zombie voice, which is really cool. Like all of these zombies have like their own little lives, like Dustin said. I thought that was really great. That was really amazing. The maid zombies are also very creepy. Like when they attack you, they lick your face. It's disgusting. It's awesome. But what I loved the most here, perhaps, was the stupid chainsaw guy. Because I thought first that it was a glitch, but it wasn't, because I saw other people have this problem too, or it wasn't really a problem. It was just a cool little gimmick. I shot him and he dropped the chainsaw and it clipped to some other zombie. And they just went off like a race boat through the corridor, and it just clipped every other zombie, and then it started swirling around and clipping all the other ones. So I basically didn't have to do anything anymore as Leon, because the chainsaw took care of all of them, which was really cool, which was really funny. So I loved it. I thought it was really creepy too. The lighting, again on PC, path tracing, the lighting, the little, I don't know what it called. It's not mist, but it's like a little dust that you can see flying everywhere. Amazing. One of the most beautiful, realistic looking games I've ever seen. There's this corridor with the horse at the end. There's like a statue of a horse.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
The lighting there is amazing.
Yeah.
Because the horse is like really well lit, and it is the HDR and all that of like just the darkest, most saturated blacks and the brightest whites. And I will say PS5 Pro, it's like probably the most impressive game on the Pro so far from a visual angle. I will say one of the things that bothered me about this section was at the end of it, Grace like gets away from that female creature in the nightgown that you meet later that walks, that has like the weird feet, almost like dog feet or whatever. And she like gets under the gate, and then she just stops moving away from it, even though it's clear that it's like hurt by the light. It's like, why are you not moving? And she's like, and it's like, just crawl back, Grace. This makes a huge problem for us because you didn't do that. But yeah, a really fun section. I did enjoy that. We brought up the antique coins before and how there were too many of them, but it was cool, like kind of going back to that room. It's as you said, when you're in that room, like some of the zombie bodies. And that's one of the cool things is like the bodies that are around, you never know when they're going to come, live, and you can actually kill them ahead of time. Like if you shoot them in the head, they'll kind of like sprout to life and then fall again, and that will stop them from coming back to life later. But I really enjoyed that. I loved the dining room. I thought that was fucking on the table. That was just dope. Like that they're not curious about you at all. And then one guy, the first time you get in there, he crawls out and you have to fight him. The second playthrough, because you use your collector's points, your CP, you can buy all sorts of different perks. And I bought the infinite knife for Grace. I was trying to read online like a trophy roadmap, because I think I'm gonna have to beat the game a few more times because I'm playing it kind of inelegantly. But that knife really saves you in the second playthrough if you're playing on classic difficulty, because you have bullets are so scarce, and every 3 slices it will stun the enemy for a second. So if you can just continue to do it, you can actually even kill the really like the revived, fucked up head zombies. Like, like you can even do them like that too if you're patient enough.
I love those, dude.
So
they were like the modern Crimson Heads from Mario 1 Remake.
Yeah, they're super cool.
And I love that you could use the injector on some of them on the ground if you want, like if you think they're gonna come back up or something like that. Good shit. It's like Evil Within, which you haven't played yet, Colin.
Yeah, I mean, Evil Within I was still at IGN when Evil Within came out, and it was just a time where if like you weren't reviewing a game, you really had no time to play the game. But I always wanted to, and I like Tango. So I mean, I wanted them to do well. I'll be curious to see what they do. They're with 10 cent now, or NetEase or something like that.
Yeah.
Someone revived them.
Like Craft On, maybe?
Craft On, that's what it is.
Craft On.
South Korean, good, not Chinese. And the same thing's probably going to happen with Blue Point, I assume, by the way. We'll see what happens. Okay. So we're back to Leon, and now he's in the Roadsill Chronic Care Center. And this is interesting because he's like greeted by a human nurse. I don't really know how to like. Brad, you're the most lore heavy, I guess, in this. Like, what is going on here? Like, she works for Gideon.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, and then it's so funny. Like, one of the doctors comes in and he's like all fucked up. This happens multiple times in the game where like he's all fucked up and she's like, "Doctor," and it's like, don't get too close, lady. If you can't tell.
The employees didn't know that there was going to be like that Order 66 code red kind of thing, so they all got caught in the crosshair of all that as well.
But yeah, I'm trying to see like where we go. Yeah, the chainsaw stuff. I do have the chainsaw stuff. The chainsaw is fun to use. The thing about the chainsaw and the dagger, or any of the knives you find, is just like how it can get stuck in the enemy sometimes, and so you kind of have, and it sucks, dude. Like, I realized this because I had to go back to a save in my second playthrough where I lost my knife. completely because I didn't pick it up off the body or whatever, that end of the zombie, like that I stuck it in. And then like you never get it back. So you'd have to go back to using like the standard destructible knives, which would be really annoying. And the same thing with the hatchet. Like that's fun as fuck to use too. And by the way, Leon looks like a G.I. Joe, which I really like. Like he's got all of his weapons and he's all kitted out. And it's really, really fun. What else here? Yeah, the Braille puzzle I have in here. Why wouldn't she? I wrote the Braille puzzle. Why wouldn't she just figure it out? Oh, that was the other thing. It's like, she could have, it's only 3 options. I'm not a mathematician. I think it's 3 times 2 times 1, right? Would be how many options there could possibly be. Like, you could just do it and try to figure it out that way. She just really didn't think this through.
No,
I don't think.
I'm going to chalk it up to panic and fear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's a question.
Sure.
And this doesn't bother me because I feel like this is very horror adjacent. So don't take this as a complaint. The moment that I saw the blind girl, I was like, oh, she's going to transform into one of those things and you're going to have to fight her, or she's going to transform into the girl because the other one's empty.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. I can feel the heartbreak already.
Yeah. And they do indicate that because in that cell, there's a Mr. Raccoon statue or whatever, but there's like a doll on the ground. And I felt kind of like a pervert because, you know, when you pick up an object and like, you're like, all right, there's something about this object. And so I'm like twisting it aside, like looking up the doll's dress and like trying to figure it out. It's like, oh, it's just here and letting you do this. I thought it'd be like, oh, there's like a key or a note. But it's like, no, you're just a fucking pervert. And Capcom's probably like, you know, has the telemetry being like, how many people perved out to this fucking doll? And I'm like, I'm not trying to perv out to it. I'm trying to find the key or whatever you hit on it. Why did you let me pick it up? Now, there are a couple other things in the game that I'd picked up that you know how the game, and I think this is one of the great things that the game does is like, and Resident Evil has done this for a long time, is just eliminate things you don't need anymore. So you use like a key for the last time, it disappears. And they even have the little icon that shows up and makes it disappear, which I think is really neat. But there are certain things in the game where I'm like, what is this? One of them is the hourglass.
One of them you get like a fake one. One
of them is, and like you'll keep it. It'll be in your inventory. One of them is a notebook that doesn't go away that you keep.
Oh, the folder. Yeah.
And there was one other. Oh, the severed hand.
Yeah.
Because I did dig that scene a lot where it looks like Grace lost her leg. And I was like, oh, like I was like, damn, that's brutal. And I was like, I did feel that sense of relief when you realize she didn't get caught because I loved that. But yeah, like what is that? There is like a final puzzle, right?
Is. Yeah. Is that it's with the doll, I think.
What is it?
There is something there. I think it's with like a doll, maybe.
Oh, so the doll I was just talking about.
It's like keeping it in your inventory till like the end of the game or something like that and doing something after. There is some whole thing about that.
People have figured it out then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
Because like, why would they give me the hand? Like, what's the hand for?
I don't know.
There's got to be a reason, right?
Maybe. Yeah.
Why would they let you add it to the inventory? I don't. Is there anything like that in the Resident Evil games? Otherwise, I don't think so.
I can't recall off the top of my head.
I mean, that doesn't bother me, but it's like there's something unsolved, I think, about some of this stuff, which is interesting. Because again, the game is very intentional about getting rid of things you don't need, which is nice. Because it would be interesting to do a hardcore, like maybe it is in the harder difficulties. I don't know. It would be kind of interesting if that shit didn't disappear in like a more hardcore playthrough.
Oh,
where it's like,
insanity?
Yeah, you use this key, maybe you'll need it again, maybe you won't. Might want to put it away or keep an inventory space open for it or whatever. Kind of neat.
Yeah, interesting.
Because the game telegraphs.
Speaking of inventory space, I'm really happy Grace had the inventory slots. Of course, Leon has the case. You know, it makes sense for Leon. But I'm really happy they still kept the inventory slots for Grace.
It was super cool.
When you get a pack upgrade.
It's huge.
So good.
It's huge. And I was going back and forth, like that one room in the lobby, like that one central save room, right where Emily's chamber is or whatever. I was going back there constantly just to drop things off because it's annoying to like go into a space and there's a bunch of collectibles and you don't have enough. You have this finite amount of space, but it was quite realistic. It's cool too because you find her gun ultimately. I think you find it in the bar.
Yeah.
And then you can get rid of that other shitty gun and make some room there too. So that's pretty nice. All right. So we fast forward now to Leon being held by Gideon in the attic of the building. I'm so confused. Again, this is classic horror movie shit. Like, just kill him. Again, it reminds me of the joke I always talk about with Austin Powers, where Scott Evil's like, we can just kill him together. Like talk about like the Dr. Evil, how he like wants to torture him. He's like, I'll go get my gun and we'll kill him together or whatever. And it's like, just kill him. And for some reason, like he just won't do it. Now I understand not killing Grace because they need her.
Right.
But Leon's like a thorn in their side. And instead, like they have a little fist fight, like fisticuffs, and then Gideon just leaves and like leaves him in the attic. It's like, what do you think's gonna happen, dude? I don't understand that. He could strangle the shit out of him. It's just a little weird. It's like it's almost like he wants it to happen. He likes the chase.
It's like
he wants to be chased by Leon, dude.
Right?
Yeah, a lot of people do.
He's got some zest, maybe. I mean, did you see the jacket?
Jacket's pretty sick.
Jacket.
That's what I'm saying. He's a little zesty.
So it's pretty sick. What did we think about playing as Leon in the? I loved. Again, we brought this up earlier. Playing as Leon in the hospital was, in the care center was a lot of fun. There's just a totally different vibe in the same space, which I think is pretty cool, and not something that you see in Resident Evil games.
Yeah, that's what I like about it. It's just like a complete tonal shift and vibe shift from when you were Grace. And it is cool, like the A and B scenario stuff we were talking about earlier with zombies that Grace didn't kill or that became blisterheads. It's just like, it's almost like letting you cut free or cut loose for a little bit and just fuck some shit up that's been haunting you for hours. So I really like that part a lot too.
I dig the you get a little more strategic as well with the blisterhead enemies, where there are enemies like with weapons or implements and you can throw them, and those are always a good way, especially with Leon, to throw them, get them to their knees, and then you can hatchet their heads. And I like when Leon's fighting and then like your hatchet runs out of sharpness, and so he's like sharpening it as he's like running away from a zombie or whatever. It's like very, very funny.
Dude, so OP that you can sharpen that hatchet. It's crazy. It's like the knife from 4, which is already really good. But it sounds like, man, you can just repair this whenever you want. Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a bit, and again, that was such a big. The Grace having the infinite knife was just so huge too, because at least you always had something. You don't have to, because you have to carry all these makeshift knives. They're only going to last so long. You're probably going to stick one in a zombie. He's going to run away with it or whatever. It's annoying. So yeah. Is there anything else to? I guess this is kind of when they confirm that both Sherry. Is it Sherry? Sherry. It would be Shelly in Japanese. Sherry and Leon have T-virus, this latent T-virus, which is interesting. That's why she's wearing the glove and all the rest. Now she's in Resident Evil 2, right?
Yeah, she's the little girl.
Yeah, right. So anything else to say about here? Locke, we haven't heard from you in a while. Is there anything you wanted to say about this? Second?
Well, no, like I brought up before, I think I thought it was so cool. My mistake that I made, I guess, in my first playthrough is that I already took care of everything with Grace. So when I got the Leon in that part there wasn't all that much to do. So the Leon part was very quickly over for me. I already took care of the singer girl and everybody else. So my Leon part here was very, very small, but it's still enjoyable. Like Brad said, you can just go ham for a while. And it's really, for someone like me, that's very, I get very scared when I'm playing a horror game, and sometimes I get so scared that I have to turn it off. But every time I got to a Leon section, I was like, "Oh, okay, cool. Now I can relax for a little and just go crazy for a while." So I think they always came at the right part, because if the Grace parts were any longer, I might have just switched it off and then come back to it tomorrow. But this ensured that I would keep playing. So the Leon parts were really a nice switch off for me.
Yeah, that was my case too, Locke, where I had killed both singing ladies as Grace, and I remember being Leon in this part, but it was very quick. I didn't have very much to do.
What difficulty did you guys play? Did you all play on normal or whatever it's called?
I played
Okay.
on
Normal, double normal, not the ink ribbon.
Yeah, I played
classic.
normal modern.
I was playing
Yeah.
the one where you have to have ink ribbons.
Yeah,
And
normal
there was
classic.
a lot of stuff I couldn't kill, or like I had to save for Leon. You know, like a lot of those blister heads and stuff, dude. There was like 4 of them lurking around. It's like, I ain't got the injectors to take these fuckers out or the resources. So I don't know. Maybe that's why the Leon part was a little more therapeutic for me. Because I was like, yes, motherfuckers.
I just like, I mean, it was said already, but I kind of like just sneaking around and kind of playing into the part of Grace where she's going to only fight when she really has to. And
you're encouraged to. Yeah.
now, right, exactly. Now, when I unlock infinite ammo and I play through on the hardest difficulty, I'm going to be fucking killing everything. Like it's going to be, and that's so fun. It's like when you're just powered up and can just go crazy in a Resident Evil game. That's really enjoyable. But yeah, this section was interesting, and I did like you could play it, I think, in a way where with foresight of knowing that you're going to play as Leon in the same section, you could leave a lot of the shit for him and like a lot of the things to find, because there's no way for them to interchange their items. And so I think if you leave like, a green herb or something like that, he'll find it instead of her in the same space. And it might be more useful for him because he's going to be more in the shit with combat, and he has a much wider array of items that he can hold. Although he has no way to store any items, so ultimately you're gonna have to sell things. There, in my classic modern playthrough, I was like running out of room because I didn't, and I would have to just start making things that I didn't even really want, to just be like, all right, I gotta like get rid of this fucking gunpowder and the scrap metal and all the rest. But yeah, really, really enjoyable part, and again, it does start switching back and forth fairly rapidly. But I did like how in the hospital they gave something very specific for Leon, which were the cabinets that couldn't be opened. And of course that leads into like opening the door that allows him to get to the part of the mansion or the hospital that Grace could never access to begin with. So I thought it was kind of cool to give people a little bit of something to re-explore their new icons that appear on the map. And that's one of the things I have to say too. And this is a big thing for me, as everyone knows, I love the little things in games. The maps are immaculate. And that's a Resident Evil thing. But you see a game like this and you're like, why can't it always be like this? Why can't maps always be super readable like this? Why can't UI work really well, tell you everything you need to know? It's just like, this is one of those games. I know people kind of roll their eyes when I say this sort of thing, but these are the make and break kind of moments for games. Again, I always bring up God of War 2018 as one of those games where it's like, why did you fuck all of this easy shit up? Everything is so difficult and so well done. The combat and everything. And it's like, oh, but by the way, the menus suck. And it's like, well, why? Why do they suck? Why does the map not read and all of the rest? And you see things like this and you're like, this is it. This is exactly the way it should be. And I know it's a small thing, but it's a big thing for me. And I think that they get that really well. And that's just Resident Evil generally, I think.
Yeah. They have great maps.
All right. So Grace ultimately, so shit goes off after Emily opens this puzzle. She has the little prism thing that they have to put into the door, but she falls into a hole in the ground. That's very inconvenient. So Grace needs to go after her. It's funny because I was looking at it kind of a little sarcastically, where I'm like, yeah, Grace is responsible for this girl's kind of downfall. And she doesn't know who she is yet, of course, too. And that becomes more complicated for her, more personal. But she also has the thing she needs to get out, presumably out of the hospital. So she's got really no choice but to go down there anyway. But she opts to go down there. And I really liked this section a lot. The idea of managing the lights and using that light to keep the enemies away. And what do they call them? The joint plugs. And so you have to gather the joint plugs, then get one and bring it to the next puzzle and to the next puzzle and so on, and kind of just bring them all the way through until you have all three that you can use to open the cells. And I loved the ominous nature of the creatures being in the cells, and you know that they're going to get opened at some point.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Now, they never really make you fight those enemies. But my assumption is, because you just run through them and leave at the end when all the cells open. But my assumption is you can make that pretty trivial for yourself if you take the time to kill all of them. But I did try to go up to the cells. They do a good job of clipping here where it's like, and keeping things apart, where it's like, I go up to the cell and I tried to like slash them through the bars to just try to kill them, but it wouldn't work. So I was trying to cheat a little bit.
I tried to kill all of them, Colin, in there, and I thought I did. But when you eventually open it, like a bunch of zombies flooded out. Because there was like an item to make a steroid in there. And I was like, I want that.
There's like an injector. Yeah.
Yeah, but you're carrying Emily when this happens, and there's all these guys out here. I'm like, I can't really get this right now. So I must have just missed something like that, or I wonder how you do it. Yeah.
Is there a way you must be able to put her down in like the save room and go back or something. If you
there's got to be something like that. There's got to be something. I just want to say, Colin, I agree with you. I like this section a lot. I was complaining about the lack of puzzles, but I appreciated how they kind of like incorporated a puzzle-like element into just navigating the space, like you're saying, with the lights and like going around a door and opening it from the other side, then taking out the plug there. There's like that room with the electricity going in there, and you have to make the long run, and that crazy bitch comes out. That was awesome. Also, loved the grinder part.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, that's a great set piece.
Yeah, that was sick.
It's cool because you really realize that you should just stagger them, save your bullets, and like you push them into them basically when they're staggered. It's really, what sucks though is that I got my knife stuck and I needed to get it, And so I went up, and it leaves it, like the guy goes through, but it leaves it at the edge, but like you go get it and you just get sucked through. So you had to be kind of careful there. It's funny because they put a typewriter right there, which to me is like, oh, this must have happened in playtesting.
Testing. Yeah.
People were probably getting really annoyed at this part, and they had to go.
Yeah, there's
all
a
the way
part
back.
like that later in the lab at the end with like the liquors and stuff.
Yes.
And it's like, oh, testing typewriter right here.
Yeah, it's funny because I didn't realize too. It's like I was wondering what they were going to do with Leon. And as far as I can tell, with Leon, you can save as much as you want, even in classic mode.
Yeah.
At the laptop, I thought they were going to have something like you had to use like a thumbstick, or you had to find like a whole new
USB,
set of items to limit it, but it wasn't. So it kind of removed the tenseness of that for me. But yeah, this section was really fun. I liked moving, like you move those tractor machines to like make room. You have to like use the key. The game does a really nice job of making it claustrophobic and kind of telegraphing this idea that like things seem too easy. And then you're like, oh, something's going to bust through this wall. And you're like, you're right half of the time. But I did enjoy that puzzle and just kind of running around and kind of kiting the enemies through the sections back into the light, which was really, really fun.
This is the part that scared me the most out of the entire game.
Oh yeah, it's a scary part.
Do you guys know that these older games, they were on PC, but I guess they were on console too, like the Amnesia games?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Who does some famous developer does those? Why can't I think of? I'll look. Go, keep going.
Because this section reminded me of the Amnesia games, where you have there's no chance you can defeat the enemy, so all you can do is hide. So when that lady, or whatever her name is, lady, I guess, starts chasing you, or the big girl starts chasing you, and you have to use the lights. That part freaked me out because I always got there a second too late, and then she appears behind you and she slashes you, and I always start to panic in parts like that. And I remember the only games I've ever had that with were the Amnesia games back in the day, because you had no way to fight back in those either. But in a good way, of course, here too. Like this is the part where I got scared the most, but I also loved getting scared here.
Yeah.
There were no cheap jump scares.
Which, Colin, I'm sure you found this too. It's frictional games.
Frictional games. That's what I was looking to. And I was actually going to say the Chinese Room, which I thought it was, but they did one of the games in that series, but it's not.
Machine for Pigs.
Machine for Pigs.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I like this section because, as Brad was saying, I like that it was more puzzle focused. And I think that it was, running from the girl, I think was very effective for me for about half of it. And then it's, as Colin was saying, where it's like you kind of start to expect it, where you're like, okay, it's been too quiet for too long. And so some of its scariness started to go away when I was expecting it. Not to say, though, there's like certain moments that were super intense where you're like, I am in a dark room. She's right around the corner and I'm trying to be as quiet as possible and really hoping she doesn't come this way. But towards the end, I was like, okay, I get it. I get what you're doing. Let's move this along.
Yeah. It's I don't know. I dug the whole idea of a little later on after the section where you open up the skylight.
Oh yeah.
And the light comes in, just making the light a weapon. And I loved in the scarier sections of Grace as well, using the bottles. I found them quite useful. Because I was stacking those up to the point where you'd have like a whole nother slot of them. Like I think you can carry 5 and then it becomes like another slot. I'm like, I gotta obviously use some of these because I can't be carrying. Like she's like, I always pictured her jangling around like a homeless woman looking for like cans on the street, which was pretty interesting. All right, where do we go from here? Let's see. The attic, back to Grace. She's in the mine shafts. Oh yeah, so you ultimately get the third puzzle piece back. You go back to the Roadsill Chronic Care Center and you get out. And then you seem clear and you go through it into the courtyard and you find the helicopter and the pilot. Brad, this pilot is not a character of any import, right?
I don't recognize him from anything. Maybe he is, but I don't recall.
It's funny because this section I thought was cool in that I feel like it was a double bait in that it's not unlike the ending of the game, actually, where it's like, oh, if I do this, it's going to be bad. This guy's obviously going to kidnap Emily. When I leave, he's going to just take off and go. And that's what I expected was going to happen. Because it happened so quick. He's like, this guy's fucking lying to her. Like, he's going to put her in. And then again, another funny moment I had to write in my notes. They don't have the helicopter key. Emily gives did they even say their names? I don't even remember. But I think they do at some point.
Yeah.
But she puts Emily in the back of the helicopter or whatever, and then she straps her in. And I'm like, Grace, the helicopter has no key. You can't start it. She doesn't need to be like, let her, because she goes to like start to lay down.
Yeah.
Like, and she's like, no, I gotta strap you in. I'm like, strap you in for what?
They're planning for a quick exit.
Yeah, perhaps so. But you would think what you would say is to the guys, be like, all right, when you see me come back, like make sure she's all set and ready to go or whatever. I just thought that was funny. But they decide that they don't, these quick friends, they decide they're going to have a quid pro quo. And actually it ends up working out. I mean, it doesn't end up working out for him because he dies. But he doesn't kidnap her. I thought for sure it was like a bait and switch. And so you have to go find the helicopter keys. And you go into this opulent room off of a cabin, which I think is really cool. This is where you find some of the items. You find the DNA strand or whatever you put it in as the puzzle. And it ends up being an elevator. And this elevator ultimately traps her in the space, which I think is really cool as well. But another thing that I thought was really, really funny when you go into the subterranean room and she ultimately finds the key. It's like, what the fuck how do you know about that's the helicopter key? It's just sitting on a table.
Wait, it said so. It said so on the label.
No, it's like, it's got a little tag and it says helicopter.
Helicopter key. Little game logic. It's fine.
I love that. But I thought the section was really cool. They have the almost back to tank like devices that all the zombies are in. That huge cool orb atop with all the hoses going into it. Some sort of red blood-like liquid. And she ultimately has to fight her way out of it. And I like the telegraphing. It's not unlike third-person shooters with when you go through a section. Uncharted did this all the time where like you go through a section of all waist-high boxes and like ammo strewn around, but nothing's happening. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to be busting my way out of here later. And they did a similar thing because they had those cool canisters on the wall where you used to kind of fight the zombies. And I thought that was kind of a cool mechanic. You only see that once in the game, and that's at the section. So Brad, what do you think of this part?
I liked it because it was kind of going into Victor's quarters, seemingly like his housing area. Then of course his like personal lab down below. And yeah, seeing him experimenting on all the bodies, the T-virus stuff was great. And of course you got the classic self-destruct sequence going on right there. Every Resident Evil game has to have one of those. So I enjoyed this section. It was pretty brief too, which I thought was really cool.
I really dug like the knee high or ankle high water or the red water and like going up the stairs as the water was going down. It was really, really cool.
Beautiful.
Anything you want to add, Locke?
Well, yeah, the aesthetic of this, it's like the movie Cabin in the Woods. I love it when games do this, and this game does it all the time. Well, all the time. It does it a couple of times really well, where you have this aesthetic of like a room you're in, and it changes completely. It does it later in the arc as well, where it just completely changes the aesthetic of the space you're in, and I love it when it does that. Like when you go down into the elevator, beautiful, and like you said, the stairs with the blood, beautiful. It reminded me a little bit of BioShock, that part of like the water coming down.
Yeah, there is a little bit of BioShock in this game too. Actually, Dustin had said it, I think, on our stream when he was talking earlier about some of the characters, like the maid character, for instance, like a lot of splicer behavior with some of the zombies. Because that was one of the first games where it felt like people had like a real, like the enemies had some sort of personality, like just the fodder enemies. Dustin, anything you want to add?
I don't think it's what you guys already said. I remember walking in and seeing that giant orb and all the tanks with the guys. I'm like, shit, here we go again. I know this is not gonna end well. And I do like the moment you mentioned this, Colin, where you go to escape and you look in the room where the elevator was, and it's just like a bottomless pit. It's like, no. So it was a cool sequence. And yeah, you're right. The spray thing where you can like really mow them down. It was like one of the few moments in the game where you feel a little powerful as Grace, particularly when you need it too in that situation.
I did to the point of the elevator, as I was saying earlier, I do love when she goes back and the elevator's gone. I think there's like a cool piece of fear. She's just looking into this like empty chamber. I thought that was really, really fun. And so, yeah, she has to figure her way out. She gets back to the helicopter, of course. They get in. The zombies are now gathering. They jump on. The helicopter is not able to take off. They end up crashing. This brings us back to Leon from his perspective. But that helicopter pilot sure does get final destinationed, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Pretty brutal shit. And obviously Emily's in a bad way at this point. But I did enjoy going back to Leon, and this is what I was saying earlier, Dustin, was like though the game feels a little fragmented between different ideas, I do like how they figured out different ways to intertwine them. So I thought it was really cool. Like, it's like, so Leon's just doing his own thing, kind of researching, and then he sees the helicopter crash in the distance. And I think that's cool. Just the way to ping pong, not too complicated, but just the ping pong back and forth between the story, I thought was really cool. And I liked the sniper rifle section a lot. Saving,
me too.
It's like, come on, cool. Grace Jesus, show some urgency. And why do we have to go into the church? It's a little creepy, but she's trying to get into that church and you're sniping them from afar. And again, if you are playing the game on New Game Plus, or it's not even New Game Plus, but if you're just playing a second time through, make sure you have a sniper rifle when you go, because otherwise you'll be shit out of luck at this section. There is strategically one of those Leon boxes placed there, so they know again from playtesting that people were going without the sniper rifle. And you're also going to be fucked because there's a Mr. Raccoon in the distance that I actually got with the pistol, but it took a lot of shots as opposed to just using the sniper rifle. So that section's pretty fun, and I enjoy how it leads into a pretty cool boss fight in the church, with the pretty generic but fun enemy where you have to shoot the little sections. He explodes, and that revives that liquid, which I guess is the same liquid that we saw in the facility. Actually, is what the blood revives the creatures around him. This is one of those things I was saying though, where this section is not so hard if you can read it right. Which is that, well, first of all, you can damage all the sections of him and not explode them. They get bigger and bigger and bigger. So theoretically, you could kind of just leave the last shot or two of each of them and just kind of kill him quickly. But this will revive all the creatures at once. And what I figured out here was you get some normal zombies and normal zombies with like axes. Then you get like the crazy headed zombies. If you kill the zombies with the axes, and then you can kind of chain them together. So like one axe into the next guy, the next axe into the next guy, and kind of just do this rotary around, and it becomes much more manageable. But I loved the burning church and all of the rest. And as Grace is kind of heading towards the water treatment plant at Leon's behest. Pretty fun boss fight, though. Mm-hmm. Speaking of boss fights, I felt like the game didn't really have boss fights, though. Did you guys notice that? Like, they're not boss fights, really. Like, the spider might be the spider is probably the most boss fight section. That
in Mr. X or whatever.
Right.
I guess.
I kind of dug that,
like
though.
Mini bosses.
Right. I kind of dug it. Yeah. Where like bosses I've said this before, especially in 3D games, bosses make me nervous. Like I'm like, I don't know. And just it's cool because you feel so accomplished when you beat one of them, of course. But I like the flow of the game of not really being interrupted by these stage sections necessarily, but are rather like the spider section is more about getting to a place as opposed to going and fighting something, which I thought was kind of cool. It's a little bit ballsy to do that because I think people have a different expectation when they play these games.
That was my one negative for the game. The boss fights were too easy, and they were always the same. Like it's always like hit the weak spot. Like every single one of them was like that. Even Mr. X and the end boss too. It's always like hit those little blobs. And I get that's in the other games too, but it's just too easy. I wish they had some more creativity on that part.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'd be curious for you to play through the game again because I do think the game gets harder just generally. Sure. On this classic difficulty, because it does seem like they really stop you from using a lot of ammo and they're much less generous, I should say. All right, where are we here? Oh, you know what? One thing also about I wrote this in my notes. I wanted to say this is just a small thing, but I love the design of that monster in the church. I don't know that I've ever seen anything like this before, but I'm sure it exists. Is like the monster opens his mouth and he has teeth, but the teeth are just everywhere. If you look, like there's not like a row of teeth or like a line of teeth. They're just jutted all the way back towards his throat. And I thought that was really cool and quite scary. Mm-hmm. And so when you see the animation of him chomping on Leon's head, you know that's not going to be very pleasant for him. Right. All right. So the water treatment plant we get to, this is like the little cat and mouse game you play with that sister character. With the lights, as I was saying earlier, you open the skylight by having to kind of slink around. This section's not too difficult. There's a trophy actually to get here that I didn't get until my second playthrough to shoot the sister. Because you just get a trophy for shooting her. Because like it really is easy to kind of just sneak around. But again, she kind of goes in and out of the ceilings and everything's kind of preset for you to encounter in certain places. So that like when you try to escape, there'll be like fallen barrels where there weren't or whatever. So they're definitely trying to trap you, but it wasn't too difficult of a section. And quite satisfying to kill that creature. Though Emily is in a bit of a bad shape here. And I thought that this was extremely funny, and again, it's another one. And I've seen people even making fun of this online, so I know that I'm not the only person that thinks this is funny. Is like Grace's horror that Leon is trying to kill Emily, and it's so funny that she's like the thing turns into like the big vagina face monster, and she's like Emily,
Yeah.
and Leon's like trying to shoot, and she's like, no, don't shoot it. He's like, get out of the way. I just thought that was so funny. It's like, Grace, get it together. Bad things are happening here. The vagina monster is gonna eat you with its vagina mouth.
Dude.
Yeah, go ahead.
At the end where he's like, Grace, I didn't hit any of her vitals. And you like see her perfectly intact, like within the flesh of that. I was like, what the fuck? Didn't you turn into that thing? You were like in a Gundam the whole time? Like, I don't understand.
It is weird. There. It is very weird. And that's, of course, when we meet Zeno as well at this point.
Yeah, cool character.
Anything to say about this, Brad?
I mean, he's just Wesker 2.0, and I love Wesker. So he did have a couple of quirks, I guess we were saying, like the all white and the cigarettes. His earring made me laugh, though.
It's very cool.
I was like, oh, he's got a fuckboy earring. That looks really funny, dude. But I was thrilled to see it, though, as a Wesker enthusiast.
Let's see. Okay, so ultimately we find our way back into Raccoon City. This is where my notes, my detailed notes end, because this is as far as I've gotten in my second playthrough. So you guys will have to carry me from here. But you find I love the visuals of this, just the bombed out American city. Yeah, where is it in the United States? Do they say?
It's just like Midwest. I want to say it's like something like Colorado, maybe, fictionally, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, where is Raccoon City in Resident Evil? Midwestern United States, specifically located in Arklay County. The Arklay Mountains, these are not real places. So yeah, it just says Midwestern United States. So yeah, maybe like a Chicago or
maybe
even a smaller city. But I do like just the crater of the bomb, and that it's just been abandoned like an exclusion zone for decades at this point. And I think it's really neat. There's like a lot of cool shit. And this is where the member berries come in, I guess, that you guys were talking about. Is like, I think you pass by the gas station.
You did,
which is super cool. I dig it. I dig this section. So let's get into Raccoon City and the return to Raccoon City. Brad, you're the most steeped in Resident Evil, I assume. So like, when have we returned to Raccoon City since 2 and 3? I guess not. Maybe in the spinoffs.
I mean, some of the spinoffs are like moments during the whole outbreak in Raccoon City, but I can't recall off the top of my head. Maybe in a movie I haven't seen, like returning to Raccoon City like years and years later, like the ruins of it. I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
What do we think of this section?
I mean, it was great. I loved seeing it. It was very interesting. It reminded me of, like I said earlier, Evil Within 2, more in particular, like this larger open space. And this is kind of like the area where you guys brought this up earlier about there was some development troubles with this game going on based off old leaks, and there was more open world probably before. So this maybe is like a remnant kind of design of that whole thing going on here. But I thought it was kind of cool to actually just cut loose as Leon for like a long time, because usually his segments were quite a bit shorter and a little more like linear, I guess, technically, because you're much more point A to B instead of like figuring out how to open a fucking door or something like that. But now we actually got a little bit more of that as Leon. And like you said, it's very Last of Us Part 2, especially like exploring the space.
Oh my God, it's so
like I loved the like the underground like car garage that was flooded.
Oh yeah.
That was such a sick part. Lockmort, I talked to you about this, but the part where you're walking on glass.
Yeah,
and there's the BSAA guys, and you can like shoot them down there. That was fantastic. So yeah, it just kind of had a lot of those like as you guys said, Metroidvania elements, get an item to help you progress something or go back to a certain little area. So I dug it a lot.
Yeah, Dustin, go ahead.
I like the part where you're shooting. It's not just missiles, but you're shooting the
artillery
like, guys.
The artillery. That's it. Yeah, you're shooting the artillery. I'm like, yeah, that's like the right level of over the top Leon action that I was like, yeah, this is sick. I love shooting the artillery. This section, there was one point where I was like a little lost trying to figure out where to go for one of the pieces. Trying to remember which one it was.
Was it like the BSAA container?
No, I think it was. they all kind of blend in my brain, so I don't even remember which one it was. It was like to the one that was on the bottom right side of the map. It might have been getting to the artillery one, actually, is the one that I had.
Okay.
It wasn't like I was like, I'm so lost, I can't figure out where to go. But one thing I do really like about this section is this is where you first get access to Leon's like weapon crate and upgrades. Yeah. And so you get the points just from any enemy you kill. And it was refreshing at this point in the game that it became very video gamey in that way, where it's like, go kill stuff, get upgrades, upgrade your weapons. And I found that very satisfying to like, okay, I went out, I got this piece while I was on the run. I killed a bunch of enemies. I picked up a few items, and now I can enjoy the rewards by going and upgrading different weapons, which, by the way, I mentioned this, I think to you, Colin, on the stream. You get the second sniper rifle that is semi-auto. I had the charm on it that gives it more power if you take off the scope. So I did that, and that thing ruled. I kept the normal sniper with me for scoped situations when I need it, but using that other one without the scope and that charm was super fun.
Yeah, the game ultimately provides you with like 2 of each weapon. And I think I ended up sticking with the first sniper rifle because I would always look at the power differential. Like it would show you like the maximum power and maximum reload speed and all the rest that you can get. And I'm like, oh, this will be higher and better when I upgrade it more. And there's such little room. One of the things I really dug was selling the weapons back, because you can sell the weapons back and then you have them available again to purchase. Like that's your only option if you want to make room, which I thought was kind of neat. And I liked finding the bracelets too, because you get a big boost of points as well. Mm-hmm. I dug the whole system, and again, making it accessible way earlier in the game in your second playthrough changes the whole thing, because by the time you get to Raccoon City, you already have a few weapons that you're really not supposed to have access to already. And since you haven't wasted time and money on like the weaker version of the submachine gun or the weaker version of the handgun or whatever, you actually are able to accumulate a shit ton of points. Did you guys buy body armor? I bought body armor.
Oh yeah. Of course.
I bought the level 2 body armor, and I would constantly repair it. It's funny because the game gives away, I realized this too, and I thought this was cool, and I don't remember this in other Resident Evil games, but I'm sure it exists, is, well, 2 things. When you buy the body armor, before you ever run into enemies, it's like, this will help with gunfire. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? So I didn't buy it because I'm like, gunfire? Like, what? I don't know why I wasn't reading it. It was like, what? And then you run into the zombies with the guns, which is kind of cool. And I love how they just randomly shoot in the air and do all this kind of stuff. But then later in the game, you fight actual human enemies. Is there a Resident Evil game where that happens?
Where you fight actual humans?
Yeah. I don't remember that. I'm sure it does, but I don't. That was a surprise.
Not a mainline one.
Yeah, like it was interesting that you actually like there. It wasn't that many. I think there's only a couple of encounters.
Yeah,
but like where you actually have to fight like smart, sentient human AI enemies, which I thought was cool. And the armor came in handy there because they can actually aim at you and
big
shoot
time. You. Dude, you will die so fast too if they shoot you. At least on the harder difficulty. Like I'd go down real quick on those fuckers. Like damn.
I'm normal too. Yeah.
Yeah, respect that, Capcom.
It's pretty dangerous out there.
Yeah.
So,
one complaint about
please.
the upgrade system in this game.
Please.
I think it's too lenient and they give you too many points. I felt like I upgraded shit way too fast, and I had a ton of upgrades I already wanted. I was like, oh, you should have slowed it down. So it felt like less appealing even doing New Game Plus, because it's so fun ranking everything up, but it's like I already had a ton of shit ranked up compared to like other games where you rank a lot of stuff up. So I was like, slow that down a little bit, that progression.
Well, that goes back to my point from the beginning about it being 2 smaller Resident Evil games. I think that's the sacrifice. It's like you don't have as much time with Leon to get that sense of progression in the upgrades.
It's funny because I agree with you in that by the end of the game, I was buying like ammo and like just like spending the money because I was like, I have nothing to spend it on really at this point. I'm not going to upgrade things I don't use. I'm not going to buy things just to have them. So, but I did fully upgrade every weapon I used. So like the submachine gun I used, the rifle I used, the pistol I used, and so on. I think I upgraded my hatchet.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's like, it's too easy to do that is my point.
And and I it's funny that you feel that way in the difficulty you were playing at, because it's probably even more
maybe
extreme actually in the difficulty I was playing the first time through. But man, if you're upset about that, the second playthrough is really gonna upset you because you're gonna have so many points before you even know what to do. I mean,
second playthrough is a whole different ball game. It's like completely different how I judge it based off of first.
So let's see
So
here.
I don't mind that for second playthrough. Like, whatever. Go fucking nuts.
This was also the part with the gas station, right? That was here, right?
You see the gas station from 3, yeah, when you're going up to...
No, you go into another gas station to get gas.
Oh, yeah, because you have to start the generators.
Yeah, because there was a zombie with a chainsaw outside, so I threw a grenade at him, and then the whole gas station exploded, and all the zombies outside were on fire. But I always got the notion that I wasn't supposed to do that. So every enemy around that gas station was dead for me when I came walking in. But I assumed that I wasn't supposed to do that. But I
didn't do that, Lock. So that's really cool that you did do that.
Yeah, because so the whole thing exploded and they were all on fire and it just kept going. And also the part like you mentioned, the part with the glass ceiling. Yeah. I reloaded that save like 4 or 5 times because I love that section. One of my favorite levels of all time in any game is the cruise ship in Uncharted 3. And this kind of reminded me of that because you can manipulate like the physics here, or you can manipulate the glass. So what I would do is, I don't know if you guys saw this, but if you go to the left side of the glass ceiling, you could even shoot the ceiling above the zombies and stuff would drop down. And you could basically make like a little maze for the zombies to fall through there, which was awesome. Such a cool segment. I love that. Yeah.
All right, I need you guys to hold my hand a little bit here from here because this is all I have for notes. So we fight the spider in the beginning. We're got the mortars. We're finding all the ingredients for, not the ingredients, but the pieces for the bomb that we need to use to explode the old fence that was put out like in the exclusion zone, so that we can continue further in towards Ground Zero, which will allow us to get to the Raccoon City Police Department and so on and so forth. So where do we go from here, Brad? I mean, what do you have to say?
The motorcycle chase,
oh,
dude.
Yeah, that's very Final Fantasy to me.
Yeah. I was getting RE6 flashbacks a little bit here.
Oh, yeah. See, I don't have that touchstone. It reminded me of Cloud on a bike.
Yeah. Yeah, it totally does. It's like the only moment in the game like this where it's like insane action, but it was goofy and I was there for it. Fucking having like some John Woo duel with Victor when they're like revving their motorcycles at each other. That was funny shit.
Dude, there's a part where when he like drives up the side of the fallen skyscraper, I saw it in the distance. I'm like, Holly, you got to watch this.
Yeah,
I know what's about to happen. It's going to be awesome. And it was.
It was a pretty cool section. And yeah, very gamey. And you're right. I think you said it, Brad. Like it gets more gamey deeper in the game, which is cool. Maybe a reflection of what assets they had in the direction they were originally going and trying to salvage those things. But yeah, I really enjoyed that as well. And so we get back to Raccoon City Police Department. We talked about this earlier. I thought this was an awesome section. I loved this section. I thought it was dope to be back in it.
Yeah, so good.
You were a little more critical of it, right, Dustin?
No, I'm not critical of being there at all. I was critical of some of the other things they brought back, but I thought being there was really cool, seeing the puzzles left behind and seeing just how dilapidated, like particularly the Star's office, like seeing the jacket and stuff like that. You're like, oh man, it's pretty bad around here. My main thing was just that I think they could have maybe come up with a better reason on why you're there. But that's not really a big deal in compared to the other things I didn't like.
All right. So where do we go from here? Do you have anything you want to say, Locke? We haven't heard from you in a minute.
Well, you forgot to mention that Gideon dies here in your playthrough, I think, because he falls in the ravine, right? I mean, never comes back.
Right. That's right.
Where so that was a little bit anticlimactic because I thought he would come back many times, but he doesn't really until the very last couple of minutes of the game.
That's true.
But yeah, I thought this section was awesome. So over the top, but really cool.
Yeah,
dude, the part where he goes across the street to Kendo's gun shop.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
And he was remembering all the moments with Kendo and his daughter, and you see like the skull, kind of like the bullet hole in it. Good shit. That's what I'm saying. A lot of this is like punished Leon.
Yeah.
Facing his fears, just like Grace had to at the beginning of the game with her mother.
Remember?
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Sometimes you gotta remember.
There's somebody on Twitter, I think, who put it out, who puts like the shots of 2 remake when he walks to the police station with the footage of this game, and it's really awesome because they recreated the same alleyway he walks to and the way he opens it. It's awesome. It's really well done.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Did you?
Oh, the berry puzzle. Did you guys do the berry scavenger hunt thing?
I don't think so.
He left clues
Yeah.
for you to find. There's like a key you could find like on top of a television, and you like open up a locker and it's like 2 tickets to like some show. That's where the PlayStation is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't see that.
With the Mega Man and stuff in there.
I'm missing a lot of documents. I'm missing a lot of documents from Raccoon City, and so I assume that this is some of that stuff that I didn't see somehow. Because you know how it shows you like the list and then it has question marks.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of them.
Mega Man 8 in there, Colin. I was like,
that iconic that blue box art.
Yeah.
It's cool that they did that. I mean, I like little things like that. You know, little connections to the past. Okay, so we end up through Raccoon City, and then we end up at what, Ark? Is that what it's called? The end?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So
first you have the
orphanage.
The orphanage, right? Okay, yeah. So right. So we were talking about that.
Yeah.
Earlier, and that was a little bit of a slowdown. That section that felt more like a walking simulator horror game.
Yeah.
Like a Layers of Fear or something of this nature. But it was fine. It was cool, and we learned more about these little girls. Pretty scary little girls. All of them.
They snap that guy's neck.
Yeah, they fuck him up. I like when you're hiding under the table and they just literally fall to the ground like those like bags of dirt. So interesting.
Yeah.
But all right, guide me through the rest. So the orphanage, and then we end up at the facility at the end.
Yeah, you saw us that section with the flowers, right? Is that before? That's before that, right? Or is
like
it after?
Leon going towards it.
Yeah,
him doing that. But Grace does like. Oh no,
they
both go to the orphanage. Yeah.
She's already there, right? Like we don't play as her.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Because she just kind of gave up after Leon took out Emily. She was just like, well,
trauma.
I'm just going to go with these guys because fuck it at this point. I will say, as you're going to the Ark, there's like the flower boss that Locke was mentioning. One element that I will 100% give credit that I think that the bringing back of old things really makes sense. And I think is really cool when you're in the facility is this idea. It's like they had this secret Umbrella restart and they were selling the virus. And so like, it makes sense that the spider is back. It makes sense that they have liquors on hand. It makes sense that the flower, a lot of these things from earlier Resident Evil games, it's like, oh no, they're manufacturing and they are in the process of selling these things. I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool element and reasoning behind why we've got this facility that's infested with liquors now.
Yeah, they said something about like spilling the plant or something like that, the sample. That's why it got out.
Yeah.
Also, the price tag, seeing on how much like a unit cost or whatever, like the liquor price and like the Mr. X price. I forgot how it was like several millions for the prices of them, but it was really cool to see that actually.
So where to from here? I mean, is there anything we want to say about the
I mean, just the Ark facility.
Yeah, right.
Dude, when you see the liquors in their little tubes, you're like, all right, they're coming out, but I am always thrilled to see liquor come out. That's good shit to me.
Oh, hell yeah.
But I like this, like, you know, because they are blind and they can't see you. And I love in every game, they're blind. They can't see me. It's like, yeah, I know. I got it.
There's a lot. But, I did want to say that is I did know. I think I said this on the stream, right, Dustin? It's like there's a lot of yellow paint, Focus M kind of things in this game. But Resident Evil is too cool for people to make fun of it, and they won't for that. Like I found quite a bit of that in here. It's not so much the yellow paint like the Resident Evil 4 stuff people were getting mad about, but just a lot of verbal cues that probably also came from testing. It's like, I gotta find the third. I gotta go find the third amulet or whatever. It's like, I know. But it's just funny that no one's saying shit about that because it's Resident Evil.
Well, but that's why, right? Like when Leon says it's like a cool one-liner or something, it's inherent to the series. No, it's not annoying like it is in other games, right?
That's true. By the way, I'm glad you brought that up too. That just the one-liner, like the Leon one-liners, are out of control. Like they're so funny. I wrote down one of them that I loved. Is like when he kills the hospital. He's like, I miss that Raccoon City hospitality.
Yeah,
I was like, it's so funny. The writing is very good in the game. Very, very funny. I wanted to talk a little bit about the end. So I didn't know. I mean, one of the things that I really loved about this game that I thought was kind of cool at the end was the idea that you make your choice with the password or whatever, and then it immediately in the credits like lets you just go back and beat it again if you want. And I didn't. Again, I said as I said at the top of the show, I didn't do that because I was like, oh, I'll just beat it again and make the other choice. But I didn't realize that I picked like that, what I presume is the non-canon choice.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So when they killed Leon, I was like, well, first of all, someone spoiled it for me in the chat of our show. But I kind of
that's such a shame.
But I also kind of knew, well, not knew, but I felt that was going to happen just because I'm like, he's all fucked up with the T-virus. Like something's obviously going to happen to him. So it wasn't like that shocking. But in reading about the last ending, so it seems like it was actually a cure.
Yeah, Elpis is a cure. It's like Spencer's atonement for all the shit he's caused, pretty much.
So does this theoretically wrap up the story? I mean,
no.
The connections are still out there.
Yeah, and what is that? So to explain this whole thing to me.
They're like another like shadow organization that eventually like kind of took over Umbrella and like forced Spencer out. They're pretty much like the new Umbrella, essentially. Like the Connections is the group, I believe, in RE7 that had Emma, the girl with all of that, and Mia worked for them and all that kind of stuff. So they are pretty much just a newer version of Umbrella.
And Mother Miranda is part, or was part.
Probably, yeah. I can't remember, but yeah, probably.
The Connections, yeah. So, yeah, so let's break this down a little bit, and maybe you guys can help clarify some of this for me. Spencer he has his atonement, and you see the file that shows Grace's mom. I always forget her name. Alyssa. She's interviewing Spencer. She finds out that he like adopted this girl, which is Grace, and says about how she's the hope. And so because of this, it is the belief of any remnants that Grace is the key in order to unlocking Spencer's final virus that will mind control people. So they take all of this time to try to clone Grace in order to unlock the Ark, which presumably they haven't been to. Because if they had been there, they would have known that it required a password. But that's the thing that whatever the fuck his name is, Fake Wesker. Zeno, it seemed kind of like he knew it was a password because he shows up and he's like, oh, well, sure, you got to know the password, Grace. Like, go ahead, put it in.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he says that too, right? Like he says if they enter the wrong password, it'll get destroyed. And that's why they need her.
So were they cloning her in hopes that the clone would somehow gain the memory that she's supposed to have of the password?
Probably, yeah, because that was like a whole big thing about carrying memories through.
Yeah, right. It's embedded or whatever, right?
Right. Okay. There's something about this whole the Grace and the clones and the password thing that feels very sloppy to me in general. I'm not too hung up on it just because it's Resident Evil, but it did feel weird to me.
Yeah, I guess it's funny. Like I just feel like I didn't get the full experience because I didn't choose the right ending either. So, but it was one of those endings. It's like, it's like one of those gray Fallout New Vegas things where it's like, I thought I was making the right choice, but I should have known, that like you're going to pull some bullshit on me, which is again,
you missed. There's a whole nother boss.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
There's a whole nother boss.
Oh, like
an end boss.
Oh, that you fight?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Gideon comes back. This is the part where Gideon comes back.
Yeah.
This is exciting.
And then he kills. Well, you don't want to know.
Oh, I know. Tell me. I don't care. I already read it. I already read what happens anyway. So, but yeah, tell me more about it. That's fine.
Because he kills Zeno here. Because Zeno injects himself with the what is it called? Elpis.
Yeah.
And then he gets cured. So he's mortal again. And then Gideon comes in and he kills him. He decapitates him. And then you have to fight him. But it's
right. And she but right before Grace puts the injection in Leon. Yeah. So Leon's good as new, basically, after his T-virus gets healed. Now, I wanted to ask you guys this. In this final boss fight, you get the RPG.
Mm-hmm.
And I shot the RPG and then it was basically over. Like it was Resident Evil 4 ending.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's
every
cool.
Resident Evil ending.
I was like, that's cool. I feel like I was like, I kind of feel like I cheated on the last boss fight, but I'm like, I picked up the RPG and I shot it and it was over.
For it for sure. Where I'm like, yeah, fuck.
Yeah, I mean, you do that in 1, you do it in 2. I think you do it in 3. Off the top of my head, it's just kind of like a Resident Evil thing.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
Where did it come from, though? Because
he had the rocket launcher.
Oh, because I randomly found it on the floor. I was just running around trying to find.
This is what I thought too, Lock, because I saw it and it like hit the floor, and I was like, "Oh shit! Did Ada drop that?" I thought of that, and I was like, "Oh no, he was just holding it before, and they probably just put it there so you'd fucking see it." Actually,
okay.
Now I'm curious for you, Colin. Once you beat it, I'm guessing this wouldn't have happened. You get an extensive 60. It's not 60 pages, but it's basically 60. It's like a slideshow. Of Grace's final report, where she goes over basically the entire lore of Umbrella.
Oh, cool.
And
I missed
the connections. It's very neat. And that's why I really respect that. Cool. That Brad's right that they're probably still going to be fucking around with Umbrella and stuff like that. But it was a nice way for them to, like, they've started this thing with the connections in 7 and 8. And they've had all this unanswered shit with Umbrella. So they were able to answer those things, recontextualize the story so they have a path to go forward on that they've already started to introduce in the last 2 games.
It's cool. It's exciting. Yeah. Like, I'm kind of glad I resisted the whole thing. It's like, press R2 to go back and do it again. And I'm like, well, I'll beat it again. And so there's going to be a whole new conclusion, which will be fun for me. Yeah. And I guess more of the canon conclusion, presumably.
There's also an after credit scene, which sets up the next one, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, that'll be fun for me. I should.
Yeah, there's basically the BSAA show up. Chris's unit from Village, I forget what they're called, like Hound Pack or something. Anyways, they show up. They rescue Leon and Grace. They get taken away. All's happy. BSAA is there, but eventually a new unit comes in, which I'm assuming is the Connections. They killed the other guys, and they say, we got to get this like one last sample before the hounds come in and get it. And they reach down, pick it up. I'm assuming that's Victor's head because it was at the spot where he died. So I'm guessing.
Isn't that specifically Chris's unit?
That one unit that came down on the ropes. Yeah.
Well, he says like, we need to get this before the wolves or the hounds.
The wolves are like, Chris's unit. Yeah. Those guys that took the head aren't Chris's unit.
Right.
Okay, cool. So obviously then what I was saying earlier is like there is a connection to a 10th game.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Dude.
I know they're not going to wrap it up, but at some point you might want to put a cap on it. You know?
Dude, I've been wanting them to wrap up Chris and Jill's story for like 10 years.
What I love about things that go on this long, you know, people make fun of this with the show Lost, where I was reading, you know, about like people always make the memes about Hurley and like how he just wouldn't lose weight in real life. So like they had to continually retcon and like write around it. And it's fun to think that this story written by totally different people that are not involved in Resident Evil and haven't been involved in years, like it spawns 3 decades later, like this incredible, robust story that needs to be retconned and fit within the dynamics of the games that maybe these people didn't work on or whatever. And this goes on for many decades. It's actually kind of a unique thing in games. There aren't many ongoing sagas that get regular updates for 30 years where they're just going on and on and on. It's really cool.
Yeah, because they make the characters older too,
right?
Which is awesome,
right? And they jump around timelines, which I think is neat too. Like this game takes place now, which is not. Resident Evil games usually take place at different times, right? Like either contemporary to the release of the game or a little before or a little after. So this game will always have to take place in 25, 26 or something, which is cool in the setting of it. I just think that's really good work, and that's hard to do.
I'm trying to remember the Resident Evil 8 DLC. Isn't that like 2030?
Yeah,
I don't remember. Yeah,
and that has in the future because I misspoke about it and I said that all of Village took place in like it was like 2034 or something.
Yeah.
I never played any of the expansions. This is why I want to go back and replay some of them too, like 4 and 8. I will say I feel this way every time I play a Resident Evil game where I'm like, yeah, I'm really into this. And then I never go back. And then the next Resident Evil game comes out. And that's why I'm really trying to be more deliberate this time. Although the time allows it, like there's nothing coming out for me really that I want to play. So I'm able to sit with it more and really enjoy it. But it really makes me, it's like, maybe I want to become a Resident Evil stan in a way. Because I've never even played, like, I never played Revelations. I never played any of this stuff. Like there's a bunch of shit that I've never, I remember on PS2, Well, PS1 had them too, right? They had like Outbreak and stuff, but PS2, that's when they started, and they started like releasing a bunch of like Dead Aim and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, I just kind of fell off, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on anymore.
Yeah, there's a lot of spinoffs.
And then I would come in for the mainline ones, but I feel like I'm missing a lot because I don't play a lot of those.
They cover canon stuff in those spinoff games.
Right, which is dope. I love that. I think that's so cool. So, and I wonder if we'll get more. I mean, I guess maybe the spinoffs these contemporary days are just the remakes, but they're going to run out of that eventually. Not anytime soon. I mean, we'll get Code Veronica next year. I'll be very interested to see what people think of Code Veronica. It reminds me so much of Dreamcast. That's where I played it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good shit. And by the way, Dustin and I were going over the numbers of PSN sales for the network in February, and it's fun to look at the PS4 games because everyone's like going back. Like a bunch of the biggest PS4 games of the month downloads were like Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 6, Resident Evil 5.
Nice.
And a lot of the stuff on PS5 was like Resident Evil 5 or Resident Evil 3, Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 2.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was pretty neat. So people are definitely getting into this. Something very, you know what else is, I wanted to make sure I said this too. We're in a very saturated, when Resident Evil came out, zombies weren't really a saturated thing. Zombies had existed obviously forever. You would think about them in some horror movies and Castlevania and things like that. It's obviously incredibly overwrought now. I mean, they're everywhere. And it's funny. And we always make fun of like how marketing tries to get away from it. It's like, oh, in Days Gone, they're freakers.
Just call them zombies, man.
Or clickers or whatever. And although they're a little different in Last of Us, whatever. But like, if you do it right, it's cool and resonates. And it's interesting that this subject matter doesn't get tired if you approach it properly in an era where it is everywhere. I mean, think about the way The Walking Dead itself just took over and how, in my opinion, that show fell off a fucking cliff really early. I tuned out at when I remember Mike and I were watching, and it's like they go to the prison and then it's just a bunch of new characters. I'm like, all right, I'm out.
Yeah, that's right. I fell off too.
So I think it says something extra special that such honestly trite subject matter can be so replayable, accessible, fun, embraceable. People like it. And I think that says a lot. In other words, there's something to be said about a new and unique story, but there's something to be said about using tired old tropes and somehow making it live. And I think that they deserve a lot of credit for that. And that goes back to my whole thing about like the Mikami games and like retconning all of this stuff. And what was intended is not what it is now, and yet it works. And that's sophisticated.
Yeah.
So I wanted to give them a shout out for that as well. Let's see what else is in here that I want to talk about. So I brought up I shut it down here. I should bring it back up. I was curious, like what weapons you guys you like to use and how you kind of went about fighting, because you kind of have to make some choices in the game. I basically tried to have one of every kind of weapon just to be able to utilize the ammunition that you would find. So like, for instance, a submachine gun is not very tantalizing, but like, what is the purpose of finding all the submachine gun ammo that you're not going to use?
Mm-hmm.
You might as well just use it. And I kind of treated the submachine gun as like the first line of defense where I'm like, I don't really care about this gun, so I'll just use it. And it does have good, especially if you're aiming at the head with like a laser reticle, like it does do good stun damage and all the rest. But what I would basically do is treat my guns as like a diminishing return thing where it's like, all right, the super SMG's done. Now I'm going to go to the pistol. The pistol's done. Now I'm going to go to the rifle. The rifle's done. Now I'll go to the shotgun. And by doing this, it almost felt like one playing Doom, where Doom always had this idea of like, you have to use the next weapon. Like you have to use this weapon to get this ammo for this gun that you then switch to this gun. And then that gives you health. And so it's obviously much more sophisticated there, but basically opening my mind up to using all the kinds of weapons and circulating between them, I thought it was really fun. So, and it's funny with the revolver, I barely used it. Actually, I was making Michael laugh because I was like, I didn't realize how insanely strong this gun was. And I don't know what I'm saving all this ammo for. Like by the end, I had like 10 bullets or something. And it's like, that's enough to kill 10 enemies.
Oh, dude.
That's a true Resident Evil player right there, Colin. Just saving all the Magnum bullets.
Right, exactly. Or just like playing a Final Fantasy game and you finish the game with like 70 elixirs, and it's like, why did I even save these? Like, you have any idea how much easier this game would have been if I just used any of these? So I did a lot to that. But Brad, what weapons did you focus in on, if any? And here,
I use everything, just depending on the situation I'm in.
Yeah.
But the default for me in any beginning of any encounter is just the pistol, because I'm just so used to that from all the years. But I mean, I love swapping the weapons, like you were experimenting with more shotguns sometimes, machine guns sometimes. But I never had too types of one weapon, or like two weapons of one type. Like I never had both sniper rifles. Once I got the one with like the automatic one and the silencer, I was like, well, I love the bolt action, but it's obsolete because I've played Resident Evil 4 and I know how this goes. And it's exactly how it went in this game as well. So I don't know. I used them all.
Yeah, the bolt action I like just because it stops me from using too much ammo.
Yeah, I mean, you get plenty of ammo at that point in the game.
Yeah, it's fun. Do you guys do the same thing too, where you're like, you don't like how that went and you just reload a save? Even if you win.
Always.
Often I try to get as much information as I could too, knowing that I'm going to reset. So it's like, all right, let's push this as far as I can so I have more information. And then I'll just go back to my previous save. It's a little more difficult in the classic playthrough because you have to use ink ribbons again. So you're not able to save too much, but and the auto saves are seldom. But I was constantly going back to try to do things cleanly again, like I did in Resident Evil 0 so memorably. Locke, what weapons did you defer to, if any?
Well, it's funny because I at different parts in the game, I had different favorite weapons. Like at first, of course, the pistol, and then I used the Requiem gun pretty often. But there's so few bullets for it that I always couldn't use it when I really needed them. There was one time where I was so glad I had 2 bullets for it, which is when you fight the human enemy, the only human boss in the game. You know, the suited out guy.
Yeah, Hunk.
That's him. Yeah. When you fight him, I was glad I had 2 bullets left. But other than that, I always used the normal gun or the silencer. It's called the second time, I think.
Yeah.
And then in the second part, I used the shotgun a lot. But then when I got to the ARC, because before that, I never used the machine gun. I thought that was a pretty dumb weapon, which I never used. But when I got to the ARC, I realized that the machine gun is pretty easy to kill the lickers with.
Yeah,
because you just shoot it one time, they all come down the corridor, and you can just get them all in one go. And I also really love the grenades at the end.
Yeah, the grenades are huge.
We have to. There was this one point. Remember, there's this one point you get into the room, the gate, the door open, and like 3 guards come out. Basically, really hard enemies that are really tough. I died like twice there. But what I found out is, as soon as the door opens, I just chucked one grenade, and then
I did the same thing. It's because there's another section where you have to drop down. It triggers something where there were more human enemies drop off of this platform and then come in, and I would just wait. I waited by the platform, just like beep, and then like they just all
that's so funny.
They just all dropped into it. I never used the double grenade. I had them, but I never even used them.
Oh, you never did?
No.
Cool. It was cool, man.
I wish maybe you could break them down into components. It would have been cool to break them down into 2 individual grenades if you wanted to, but and then the customizing things. It's to your point earlier, Brad. I had because I was focused on one specific weapon per type. I really did manage to just have the strongest submachine gun, the strongest, whatever. Dustin, did you defer to any weapons specifically?
I would kind of like you, Colin, start with the machine gun and kind of use that until it was out. It's funny, the Requiem, I basically only used it one time as Grace, and it was when I was killing the chef guy. But other than that, I was always like, I gotta save these bullets in case I really need it. Some of the Leon weapons I didn't even use. Like there's the silenced handgun.
Yeah, I didn't use that either. It was weak.
I don't need that. For the most part, I'm playing balls to the wall right now. So I don't need to be quiet. So I didn't use that. I did switch to the police shotgun. The W870 police shotgun, which was pretty cool. I'm very curious about the New Game Plus weapons. Yeah. The Redemption handgun looks sick. So
yeah, was one of those Wesker's gun? Because he had a really crazy gun that looked kind of like that.
I think that the gun called Redemption, I think that is Wesker's gun. Okay. I'm not positive though.
For me, I'm looking at the list now. So I use the alligator snapper and just updated that as a pistol. The Marksman 1A is what I stuck with the rifle because it's so. Oh no, I'm sorry. The classic 70 is what I stuck with because it's the most powerful one. And then the shotgun. My favorite weapon in the game is probably the 990 TAC, which is the shotgun that focuses the blast. So it's mega powerful. In the fight where you fight the spider in Raccoon City, and you have to kind of get behind him to shoot him. I just fucking blah 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 blah, and it was over because it's just that's really tight, focused, non-spread shotgun, which I really like. But yeah, there's a lot of shit in here. And I did end up liking the Gal SMG, like the Uzi, because the the other SMG is the Stereo Revo or whatever, and it's like each bullet is a third as powerful, but it shoots way quicker. And I'm like, but I don't understand why you would want that, because the bullets are finite. So you'd rather have each bullet do more damage slowly, in my opinion. And it worked out well. And the SMG, again, was great to just stagger enemies, even if you quickly switch with the D-pad to another weapon and did the killing blow with that. So, and again, so people know, as I was saying about the knife in my replay through with Grace, you should definitely use some of the CP you get to buy the Kotetsu, which is the infinite melee knife. And it's clutch. It's about as powerful as the hunting knife, but it just doesn't break. So, I mean, I don't want to say it was essential, but I found it incredibly useful in the hospital in the beginning of the game to save ammo, because ammo is so scarce and your gun is so weak until you find your better pistol in the bar, which is for some reason sitting in the bar. Let's see. Is there anything else to discuss?
Does the game give you more ammo if you use more ammo? I've always, because
I don't know if this has like the difficulty system that increases depending on how well you play. I'm not really sure if that's in this game. I know some games had that. Some Resident Evil games.
Well, I think
so, Locke.
I think there was, Locke, because there's that section where you're fighting one of the creatures as Leon in the attic. Yeah. And there's like the little things in the wall where he bashes you through the wall and you can get the ammo. I was playing through it on my second playthrough, realizing again, not realizing at the time, it's like, I don't have all the weapons I should have because I'm not buying them. So like at this point, you should have a shotgun. You find it right before this fight. And so I only had my pistol, and I tried to fight it with just the pistol, which I was like doing okay with. And I ran out of ammo. And what I was realizing was like every so often, like a box would just appear, like in some rubble or whatever. So it does seem like it keeps you going. But then I was like, this is not the way you're supposed to be fighting this thing. So I went back to a previous save, got the shotgun, and I killed it in like 5 seconds. So, so don't recommend that. But the pistol is kind of weak, but yeah, it seems it's just so different than the early Resident Evil games. You might have 40 ammo for your pistol like the entire game, and that's probably way more than you have in the game. Actually, it feels like they're getting further away from survival horror, but I don't really hate that either. I think you can describe and define survival horror differently. And
yeah, it's evolved.
Yeah, and I like the hardcore shit, and that hardcore shit no doubt still exists when you play it on insanity mode and stuff like that. Like it's gonna get ratcheted up and get crazy for you. But of course, you can break that difficulty by using your collector's points to buy all these different things that will just make the game trivial. Like not only can you buy the RPG, you can buy infinite RPG ammo.
Yeah.
So now it's mega expensive. You'll have to. That's why I'm playing. So I need more collector's points because I really can't afford anything that will make the insanity playthrough easier for me right now. And so the playthrough I'm doing now, I'm trying to just get all I missed like 5 raccoons and I don't know, 15 documents or something playing through organically. So I'm just trying to find those things that will give me a bunch of points. And then I'll probably do my speed run on easy. You have to beat it in under 4 hours, which would be trivial, I think. And you have to use no blood and you have to not heal or something like that. And I'm like, I think on the easiest difficulty, you have automatically regenerating health that at least gets you back to like half or something.
Yeah, I think so.
So I think I can do that, and I'll do that. And once you beat that, you get basically a shit ton of CP when you beat the game on and do all those kinds of things. And then you can unlock like infinite ammo, the RPGs and stuff, and that will make the insanity run trivial, I assume, because I'm not going to do that straight up. That would be great for people to, if they really cared about difficulty, but I just want the trophies at this point. I don't want to beat the game 17 times. So let me see here in my notes if there's anything else that I wanted to touch on. Not really. The game was really gory. Not a huge surprise. I was wondering, I'm like, is it gorier than it ever was, or does it just look better than it ever was?
I think it looks maybe just better now. Like RE2 Remake was super gory at the time, especially.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe they just perfected a little more over time.
And then, I guess we should talk about, we didn't touch on this at all, and this is important. First person versus third person.
Yeah. Did
you guys play the standards recommended of first person as?
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Grace, I guess, and third person is Leon. It is cool to be able to switch back and forth, but I dig it. I never messed with it. We messed with it when we were streaming just to see, but I played it the way that they recommended. Mm-hmm. I guess I wouldn't want to play. I actually don't mind the first person Resident Evil stuff. It is cool that maybe they're trying to segue back away from that, because I feel like RE7 was so surprising to people because they switched perspectives and it actually worked. But it's not quite. Survival horror doesn't. I don't know. Do you need to see yourself for survival horror to really work? And also, like,
no.
Can you, and the manipulations of the camera in third person allow you to see around corners, and I don't know.
I replayed through 7 last week or 2 weeks ago. And the first time I played it was in first person. But then remember they released that DLC.
Oh, you mean 8?
Where you could, 8, sorry, yeah. And then they released that DLC where you can play in third person.
Mhm.
And I enjoyed it much, much more in first person, that one. Because it was designed for it too.
It was designed for it. That's why I think it works better.
But it was way, way more immersive. And I think it was so interesting here that it make you, or didn't make you, because you could also play it in third person. But if you played it in third person, it was also changed the cutscenes. So they basically made 2 separate games here in that regard. Because they changed the cutscenes according to what you choose here, which is also really cool.
There's also, I restarted and played just the beginning, and I swapped it so Grace was in third person and Leon was in first person.
Oh, interesting.
And there's like a lot of animation work they did for Grace that you would never see, where when she's running away from the zombie police officer, she's like almost falling up the stairs and all kinds of stuff. And you never see that. So I really appreciate that they really took the time that they're like, yeah, this is our intent that you play it this way. But if you switch it around, you're not getting a lesser experience. I think that for the horror aspect of Grace, the horror element is going to be magnified by being in first person, like for sure. To me, it's going to be just way less scary in third person, which may be good if you're not into it being super scary.
It's the antithesis of something like Fallout 3, where you play in third person and you're just like,
yeah, you look like a fucking idiot.
Is there anything else to say before we go? We've been going for a while. I don't want to hold you guys too much longer. I think that's pretty much everything. I've touched on pretty much everything in my notes. I do recommend playing with headphones or nice, speakers. Like I really enjoyed I think the sound design is really great in the game. And I really enjoyed playing it on headphones. I was saying that I was so immersed in the game that it affected my cumulative, weekly time on my phone, because like I usually have my phone just sitting next to me, and I have an earbud in, like one earbud in, and I'll be listening to a podcast while I'm playing, a game that's not so important or whatever I played before. In this game, I was just so excited and immersed by it that I was really in it. And I thought the sound design was excellent.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, just want to give a shout out. I mean, this is not new for Resident Evil, but just Resident Evil is so good about replayability. And that's why I was really bummed when everyone's like, it's only 10 hours or 12. I was like, shut up, dude. Like, you're supposed to play the games multiple times, really. And even frankly, if you played this game once at 10 hours for $70, I think it's a steal. I mean, I think it's a superb game. Superb.
It's also not 10 hours. Like the game time is like completely false, because I looked at mine and it says I completed it in 9 hours and 40 minutes. But then I look at my Steam time and it was like 16 hours.
Yeah, it's exactly what happened to me on PSN. It's not correct. And I think what was said earlier is true. It's probably not counting cutscenes and stuff. And that makes sense, just because for the speed running and all that, it's actually kind of cool, because if you're speed running the game, you still don't have to skip the cutscenes, which is kind of nice, because usually you just totally when you're doing a speed run, you blow the game up for yourself. It's like there's no way to enjoy it. You just have to get through it. And so I'm really excited to play through quickly and see how it is. And then I'm really, really excited to like just go balls to the wall with the Requiem and like infinite ammo and just fucking kill everything. Like when I play it on Insanity, I'm going into the mansion or into the hospital. I'm just going around and killing everything. And then and then I just want to see what happens if you just run around like unmolested in the entire game. Leon will get there probably fine. Even going around and killing all the corpses that will revive later. I really want to. This is what this is to me as I guess a person who makes games now, and it's like I love fucking with games like this. And I'm really, really excited. And I'm unlike the Resident Evil 8 and 7 and these other games that came out where I'm like I replay, or 4 2 remake, replayed them maybe once or whatever. I want to platinum this and kind of begin a trend of doing that more often, because 3% of people that played the game already have the platinum. I mean, this is a game that's really engaged people. It's been out for 8 days. So it's like people are really eating it up. And I think that's so great. And I also want to give a shout out to the trophy list. I thought the trophy list was for people that care about trophies and achievements. I thought it was pretty cool. The game has you do a lot of like random things to get trophies, and in addition to like beating story beats and all of the rest. So I thought that was really, really fun, and a reason to try different things, like to use the injector to try to kill multiple enemies with one shot, to parry and do all those kinds of things, and use your axe or your hatchet and so on and so forth. So I highly recommend if you're into that stuff. The only one I don't have of like the random ones is I didn't kill 3 enemies with a single shot, and I didn't cut a tongue off a liquor. So I have to get those 2 on my next playthrough. But I've gotten pretty much everything else. And then you get a bunch of trophies for earning credits and for credit where credit is due to. So yeah, like you have to earn 200,000 in-game credits. So it's going to take a while for people to do this. Also, one of them I think is to earn there's an in-game unlockable to get CP where you have to use 5,000 blood, which is ridiculous, but apparently can be easily manipulated. So there's a bunch of cool stuff like that. So I want to give them a shout out for that too, because that makes it more fun for people like me. Okay, I guess that's it. Resident Evil Requiem out now on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC, and Switch 2 as well, right? Sold. Yep. I think it's sold. I think, what did Alinea say? Let me see.
PC sold the most, right? From what I saw.
I was surprised by something he said, though. Let me see if I can.
Oh, that's probably the Xbox numbers.
Was that what it was?
Yeah, because it was like 300,000.
300, yeah.
Oof, that's so bad, dude. That's awful. If that's true, that's... Oh, yeah, here it is. It's 2.3 million on Steam, 1.7 million on PlayStation, 300,000 on Xbox. It's like, damn, dude.
Ouch.
Rough. So I guess that's it. Guys, I appreciate you. Let's go around the horn, say goodbye to everyone, but I appreciate you guys' time. And I hope everyone enjoyed our episode. And I hope you enjoyed the game. I hope you didn't listen to us until you played it yourself. Locke, goodbye to you. Have a good weekend. Any big plans for you?
Thank you. Well, I want to play through Resident Evil Requiem again, I guess. And I want to try a marathon for the first time or the second time, I guess. Good. So, yeah, a lot of video games this weekend, I hope. But thank you for having me. Great fun. Always great fun to talk.
Yeah, it was good. I wanted to see... how is Marathon doing on Steam now?
It's okay. It's at 80.
It had like 80.
Yeah, it's at 67 now. Yeah, 88 is all-time high. I think it'll be fine. I did look, it's all anecdotal, but I had probably 10 people on my list playing it last night on PSN.
Yeah.
And my assumption is it'll be bigger on console than on PC, but maybe I'm totally off base there. Okay. I'm sorry, go ahead. Locke, did you have more to say?
No, they probably wanted it to be bigger, but it's doing okay. It's doing all right. It won't go anywhere. It's not Concord 3 or whatever people say. It's fine. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Locke. Be well. We'll see you next time. Dustin, goodbye to you. Appreciate you. Any big plans you want to share? What's going on?
I think we're going out to dinner tonight, so that'll be nice. And I'm ready to hang out with my Pokemon, dude. It's really good. Brad, I saw you playing it on stream too. Mm-hmm. You into it?
Yeah, it's good. It's really good.
I'm loving it. So I'll probably hop into some Marathon 2 this weekend and see if I will actually survive a little bit longer than when Brad and I played.
Enjoy. Be well. Enjoy your dinner, especially.
Thank you.
Brad, goodbye to you over in California.
Hey.
What's going on with you?
Everybody.
What's happening?
I'm going to eat some lunch right after this. Then I do as well need to play Marathon and Pokopia for some insight. So
cool.
I'm enjoying both. Though.
Yeah, I'm going to... I'll be sticking with, I think, this for a while for Resident Evil, do my more playthroughs and just put it away in the next week if I can or so. There's that game I was bringing up. What the hell is it called? Mini Shoot Adventures. I really want to play awesome. That game. So that's going to be on my list too. And there's a few games I went through and wishlisted a bunch of things that were out already on PSN. There's a few things I want to play, like odds and ends, but Crimson Desert soon. So I assume that I don't know if I'm going to like it even or not, but I think it looks cool. So we'll check it out. So got to clear the deck for all those things. And I still have things for Saint Slayer to do as well. So I have to get on that too. All right, my friends. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here with me. And thank you all out there for your love, kindness, and support. Hope you enjoyed our conversation. Remember, patreon.com/laststandmedia for early ad-free access and laststandmedia.store for merch. We'll see you next time. Until then, goodbye. Sacred Symbols, a PlayStation podcast, is a product and trademark of Last Stand Media and Colin's Last Stand LLC, and is proudly recorded in the USA. The show is conceived by, is written by, and is directed by me, Colin Moriarty. My co-hosts are Chris Raygun Maldonado and Dustin Furman. The show is produced by executive producer Dustin Furman. All of Last Stand's theme music is by my best friend, Ramon Narvaez. As you know, all of Last Stand's shows, including Sacred Symbols, are fan-funded on Patreon at patreon.com/laststandmedia. The following names are at the producer level on Patreon, our highest tier, and we're grateful for your thoughtful and kind contributions to our independent endeavor. Thank you.